Diamond wrist drip, slip through the pitfalls. I just wanna chill with the big dogs. House on the hill with a big dog. Make it a ride, I'm taking a lot. So it's about time that I get what I got. And it's about time that I get what I need. And yes, I'm needy, I need to succeed. Know what I need it all. So I don't live with my back to the wall. Don't have to answer whenever you call. Who that on the line, it don't matter, dog. Oh, not at all. Oh, what a gift. Just to be rich and not giving a shit. Just to be rich and not giving a shit. Pinky up, I'm gonna take me a sip.
I need the cash, money signs on every bag. Green in the eye of each lad. Pockets so fat like I'm smuggling packs. I only deal with my time in these maps. Role playing the tactician and craft. All the success if I dub it is that. As dinner's a fat guarantee for a hunter. A winner I see in the mirror who trumping. I need my anthem to blare with some trumpets. Mama's fair for repaid and she also consistently stable and nothing could offset me. A boss type beat, lead the starship stream throughout space. I'm a star, baby boo, better watch the race and you'll see me live today and die trying to just don't break. Except all the bread we make with 2 hands. Better get your ball together and stretch bands. Do it all for as long as you can. Get your sandwich ready and go ham. The baloney niggas just can't comprehend.
Yo, cash rules everything around me. In that I am drowning, cause I don't know accounting. Blame it on my school system, blame it on my county. In that I am drowning, blame it on my clowning. Blame it on my young and my dumb, and not knowing where it's from, and not knowing where it's going. Might as well throw it in the ocean. As I put my back in motion, might as well throw it on some drinks. Hit a Miami for 2 weeks, might as well throw it on the beach. I don't give a fuck about the economy. They ain't never helping those in poverty. They ain't never coming here to save you. Waiting on that trickle down in your rain boots. You the blood, sweat, and tears of this whole operation, though. You will make it operational, but don't deserve paid vacation, though. I don't know what I look like. Woo with a fool, I'm losing my cool. I need to make moves, get my community under a groove. Like one nation, so we never lose. Nothing can stop us now. They will not knock us down. We will not chill while they chop us down. That is not simply allowed. I'm not the one to kowtow. Cash rules everything around me. In that I am drowning, cause I don't know accounting. Blame it on my school system, blame it on my county. In that I am drowning, blame it on my clowning. Blame it on my young and my dumb, and not knowing where it's from, and not knowing where it's going. Might as well throw it in the ocean. I put my back in motion, might as well throw it on some drinks. In a Miami for 2 weeks, might as well throw it on the beach. Oh yeah. She love to back it up when we in the club. She love show me love. Oh yeah. She love to back it up when we in the club. She love show me love. Oh yeah.
Baby girl, hold up, hold it right there. 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 Baby girl, hold up, hold it right there.
I would like to be traded to any other team but the New England Patriots.
Big brain predictions. That's what I got.
Take it off, sir.
The Washington football team beat the Steelers.
And that person.
EDP.
Yes, but if we lose this game, I firmly believe we do not need to make playoffs. So
Don't you ever disrespect me.
Eagles fan. God, I love that guy. It's fantastic.
What is going on, folks? Welcome back to After Further Review. This is episode 94. I am your co-host, James Brown.
You run down the line. There you go.
Everybody's hated co-host, Malin. How's everybody doing?
Good. I'm your other delightful co-host, Shaquille Brown.
And on the end there, we got G Money.
Just a homeless dude hanging out here. I tell you what, you're all subscribed. You can be here too.
Malin welcomes anybody at his home.
We found him out back bouncing in the neighbor's trampoline.
It's like, can you spell football? Bet, you be on the show. Come on in.
There's only 1-0. Okay, you're sitting with the end.
You must be a Tampa fan.
Only knows how to spell Brady. That's what
True Tampa fan. Shout out to G Money for coming out onto the show, physically onto the show. Good to have him here. Excited to have a great show tonight. 94 episodes, gents. 94. We're getting closer and closer to triple digits. So let's take our opening shot. We've got Buffalo Trace tonight, courtesy of Malin.
Cheers, gents. But now the real fun's going to begin, though, because we're not just sipping Buffalo Trace. We're not just sipping beer like we normally do. G Money has decided to do G Money things. Right. So we got ourselves a bottle of some Don Julio 1942 that we're going to be passing around, and that's what we're going to be sipping on tonight.
Fancy. Trust me, if you still watching this show and still have a functional liver, you're a true MVP.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
G Money's showing us this special treatment.
And if at any point Don Julio wants to sponsor us,
Yeah.
we would be more than willing.
Pretty easy to get a hold
So
of.
we'll send y'all stickers every once a week to go.
You don't even need to give us, you don't even need to give us money. Just Shaq's going low with the stickers.
He's like, money? You're pretty sure some labels of Don Julio 1942.
Get a label.
We will send you an email with our logo, and you can print it out and put it on the fridge.
You're welcome. That's a one. He's like, that's 1 in 10 million. You better save
At the
that.
end of this show, Don Julio is going to call my cell phone and give me a cease and desist.
Yeah, you walk into a liquor store. Walk in a liquor.
Sir, our brand cannot be associated with
Folks, if you are only listening to this show, you're being robbed of the full experience. If you want to watch the show, we're live every Wednesday night at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Just click the first link down in your podcast description. You'll be taken to the YouTube version of that episode, so you can watch the replay, or 9:30 Eastern Time at night on Wednesdays. You can catch us live and hop into the live chat where G Money is usually at, but this time he's here, so won't have to just read his comments. Yeah, let's just hop right on into the first segment here. I don't have a banner for this because it was kind of last minute, but MLB and just a little bit of baseball talk, which is, obviously we don't usually talk about baseball on the show, but with the All-Star game happening, the home run derby, Jackie Robinson, I figured we'd just hop in and have just a general baseball talk on where the game is at now and what we all think of the MLB right now. Anybody have any just opening thoughts? Anything come to mind first?
Shaq always lead off.
Yeah, okay.
He usually is.
For some odd reason. I mean, I watched the game, their All-Star game, and I was actually very entertained by it. I don't know if it's because it wasn't like a 5-hour game per usual baseball. I'm one of those guilty culprits of I can watch baseball, but there's like a limit in how much baseball game I can watch before I'm kind of like, all right. So, but I enjoyed it because it's baseball. I do enjoy watching baseball, but not for like 9 whole innings of all that. So I think, like you brought up previously in a couple episodes ago, that I think that's the only thing that gets this generation of people is how long the game is, and they struggle with watching hours upon hours when they seem like baseball, but it's still a good game.
I do have another idea on why not as many people are getting into baseball anymore. If you think about a teenage boy, high school, gets to pick sports, how many cute girls are in the stands clapping for the shortstop of the baseball team in high school? It's not really happening.
Right.
It's mainly football, basketball. Not really a whole lot of clapping going on at the high school level, and so I think people want to play what's going to get them noticed. But Shad, I do agree with you on this that unless you have a favorite baseball team, because I don't think you do. If you did, it would probably be the Yankees, right? No.
Dodgers.
You literally hit to the hottest, whatever the hottest is.
Dodgers.
Like me being, I'm 41 years old and I am a lifelong fan of the Seattle Mariners, and they've only been to the playoffs 4 years.
Yeah.
4 years. We're on a 21-year drought right now. But I still love the game because I played the game. But there is something about, if you don't have a favorite team, there's something about going to a live baseball game where you can drink a bunch of overpriced beer and have a day-old hot dog. It just seems great.
Do you want a beer the price of a 6-pack? There you go.
Yeah. You want to go to Publix and get a 24-pack of Miller Lite, or do you want to have one Bud Light?
I'll take the Bud Light.
Some weird monopoly money.
Sit in a concrete coffin and just drop a can of fuel. Because we do have the worst ballpark in Tampa.
Yeah.
In Tampa, we have the worst ballpark in Major League Baseball.
I've heard.
It is.
Never been.
It's insane. Whoever designed that park, built that, needed to get drunk in the middle of the street and shot. But so far this season, okay, because for G Money and I, is being Mariner fans. This was the year that Seattle was supposed to start being good. They started this rebuild back in 2019 or 2018, and they sold us on this fact that we were going to start competing in 2021, and then that got moved back because of COVID. They used that as an excuse, and then 2022 happened, and we had a really good month in September, but still didn't make playoffs. And, I got to tell you, in April and May, it was bleak. June got a little bit better. All of a sudden, the Mariners ripped off 21 out of the last 24 games, 14 games in a row, the largest winning streak ever to go into the All-Star break. Our Seattle Mariners, we are in the wild card. We have a 71% chance with Vegas odds to make playoffs.
Damn.
If we fuck this up, so help me God.
I hope you know just because you brought it up on the show.
Probably stop talking about
it. It's been an exciting year just as a baseball fan because you do have a lot of front runs. The Yankees are doing what the Yankees do when they're supposed to be good. They're 64-28 right now. They're leading in the major league. They actually have a chance, a small chance, I think like a 21% chance of beating the Mariners' regular season record of 116 games that they set back in 2001. But Astros are doing their cheater shit. But yeah, it's been fun, and the All-Star game was fun to watch. I don't really know what I think about the uniforms or why we hype up the Dodgers so much. But it was good. Yeah.
Probably for the same reason we hype up the Cowboys every single season, knowing they could be god awful. Just saying.
G Money, you can go ahead.
Yeah, the thing I do like about the All-Star game is they mic players up, they mic pitchers up. They mic up outfielders, so they could, and the announcers would ask them questions during the game. Hey, what are you doing? What's going on? How do you feel? You don't see that in the NBA or the NFL. Is that even? I mean, the NFL Pro Bowl is so sad because now they're talking about maybe doing skills thing as opposed to even have anybody going out and actually looking at like they're playing. But no, I watched it. I liked the game. As far as the game being too slow, yeah, but they are working on speeding it up, like with extra innings. You start off with a player on second base, so that helps speed up the game. So you don't have games ostensibly going 17 innings and 12 hours. You know, you got like 5 fans left in the stands that are passed out drunk because they spent $300 on 6 beers.
Yep. And some fried cricket nachos.
Yeah. Hey, you got to try those fried cricket nachos. I tell you, man, these things are ripping.
The one thing I'll say about baseball is if they can find a way to regulate like how long the game is, because it's the only professional sport that doesn't have a clock. Okay?
Right.
So you can't have games that are like 5 hours. You can't have games that are like 3 hours. It depends on how well the batters are doing against pitchers. But I think it's America's pastime for a reason. And a lot like football, America loves situations. We love 3rd and 10, you need to get to the 38 to get in field goal range to try to win the game. We love the 2-out, bottom of the ninth, 3-2 pitch, runner on second. Let's see if they can drive him in. Like we love situations, and baseball creates some of the best situations that sports can offer. I mean, just the other day we had in the 8th inning on the Mariners game where the bases were loaded, 2 outs. Julio Rodriguez, who's a 21-year-old rookie, went in the home run derby. We'll talk about that later during the What's Up with That. 3-2 pitch, 3 balls, 2 strikes, belted, dead center field, 418 feet, grand slam. First grand slam of his career. Like, those types of situations can create moments for young people to fall in love with the game. The problem is that if you only have one of those moments in 4.5 hours, you're not going to keep the attention span. So I do appreciate them trying to do some things to get creative, but I do agree with G-Money. Having the people mic'd up was awesome because Ohtani went up to the plate, number 1 batter, said he was going to swing at the first pitch, swung at the first pitch. You had pitchers talking about what they were going to throw and when they needed to throw it, and being able to hear the inertia of their body as they're throwing the pitch was really cool. The conversations between the catchers and the pitchers was crazy. It was really kind of cool, and I think the NFL should do something like that. Like, you already have mics in the quarterback's helmet, in the middle linebacker's helmet in the NFL. Have that shit live in the Pro Bowl. Be able to hear what they're saying in the Pro Bowl. That would be I think the NFL should do
You
that.
say that, but I just envision Antonio Brown with a mic up right before.
And he's not in the NFL either.
Yeah, he's not in the NFL.
Don't put a mic in the man's head.
We no longer have perfect in the league. We don't have. But I mean, like, could you imagine if you were in a Pro Bowl back in the early 2000s and you had Peyton Manning talking in a mic about what the offense was doing, and you had Ray Lewis on the other side talking about what the defense was doing? Like, that could have changed the way we perceive the Pro Bowl now. So I think Major League Baseball did a really cool thing there.
Yeah. On another topic, still baseball, but what do you guys think about Mookie Betts showing up with the shirt that was said something along the lines of "We need more black people at baseball stadiums"?
Well, 100% they do.
Yeah.
I think it is less than 4% of Major League Baseball players right now are African American. You see a lot of people that people think are African American, but they really are Dominican.
Right.
And back in the 80s and in the early 90s, you were over 30%, almost 40% African American. And you're talking about some of the best athletes on the planet, people that can change the game. And, I know that Major League Baseball isn't as popular as some of the other sports, but they definitely pay more money
Right.
than the other sports. I mean, you have someone right now, Juan Soto, turned down a 14-year, $440 million contract on the Washington Nationals. Could you imagine anybody in the NFL or NBA saying, "Nah, man, keep your $440 million. I want 10 years, $440 million."
It's ridiculous. But yeah, I agree. But it's like one of those weird sports where, unfortunately, like it's like hockey too. It doesn't attract, for some reason, a big like African American population playing or even showing up to the games altogether.
But it used to, right?
Yeah.
That's the thing. Hockey never seemed to have attracted that.
No,
but
I think-
MLB, like you were saying, like 80s, 90s. Like my dad wanted to play baseball when he was a kid. Like he wanted to be a MLB player once upon a time, but that was never my interest or really any of my friends' interest.
Or you look at Michael Jordan too. Like,
I think that Major League Baseball in the 90s did a bad job of accepting African American culture. I think. And the reason why I can say that is because there were plenty of people that ridiculed and blasted someone like Ken Griffey Jr. just for wearing his hat backwards in batting practice and in warm-ups. You know what I mean? It's
crazy.
Like baseball's all about that unspoken rule and stuff like that, and don't show too much emotion and too much excitement, and you start killing that type of fire in people, and you're not doing a good job of promoting it in little leagues, and it becomes all about travel ball. And not the inner city little leagues, and not even inner city, just suburban little leagues.
Right.
The type of little leagues that I played in when I was playing when I was younger wouldn't matter at this point because of all the travel ball, and all of that takes a lot of money. You don't have the way that travel ball is. The way that travel ball is played in baseball is a lot different than basketball because travel ball and basketball has a lot of sponsorships. It has a lot of money tied into it so that people that can't afford to do it can do it. Baseball is a lot different. They don't have that type of money. So it's all dependent upon who can pay the money to do it. And baseball's kind of a sport that costs a lot of money. There's a lot of equipment involved.
Very expensive type of thing to do. Whereas, like, I did, like, a little travel basketball thing as a kid, and it was, like, a very inexpensive type of thing to do for you to be able to afford. It's like, your kids go do basketball. It's like, can you afford the shoes and show up?
And basketball, it just really just needs some shoes.
And now a baseball glove is, if you want a good one, it's $189, $230.
Yeah, if your family doesn't have it, it's like, they can pick a cheaper sport for you, too.
If you're 10 years old, a baseball glove can cost you anywhere between $70 to $100 for one that they're going to grow out of in a year. So I mean, they do need to fix it. You're talking about a great amount of talent that could infuse a lot of excitement and athleticism and passion in the game of baseball that it needs. But they've been dealing with this problem for 20 years. For a long time.
Yeah, I wasn't aware that the cost of entry for baseball, like as just for a kid, is higher because it's all travel ball. That would explain a lot, just right there. But yeah, I don't know. I'm excited to see like a decade from now where the game is at then. It should be interesting. I don't know if you guys have any. Like, if you have any idea of where the game is going, or
money.
So, when you look at where Major League Baseball was in the 80s and where they started to focus their attention on, it wasn't on inner city youth, it wasn't on African Americans, heck, it wasn't even on white Americans, it was on Latin America. Because down in Latin America, you had two sports, right? You had baseball and you had soccer. So you're going to be one of the two. And most of Latin America is poor, I mean like dirt poor. And so it's easy to finance leagues down there and get kids playing from the time they're 8 or 9 all the way up. And then you draft them in the major leagues. And you're looking at a kid that was, maybe his family was making $50 a month, and now he's making $300 a week. And that's just in the minors.
Yeah.
And if, you know, and the opportunities that people have as far as sports go, most people want to play basketball or football.
Right.
I mean, you see that on TV. I mean, and you all discussed this a few episodes ago. Who's the face of Major League Baseball? Can you tell me? Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Nobody can really figure that out.
Should be Mike Trout.
If you're going to say the face of the NBA, you're going to come up with at least 2, maybe 4 players, right? Right off the top of your head, you're just going to like LeBron, like Steph, you know, KD, boom, just like that. You go ask a 10-year-old who the face of the NBA is, they'll tell you. You ask them who's the face of Major League Baseball, no clue, no clue. You ask them, if you're going to play sports, what sport do you want to play and why? I want to play basketball. Why? Because I want to be like LeBron. I want to be like KD. I want to be like Seth. That's who I want to be. Why? Because they see them on TV all the time. Not just playing, but in commercials. They're making money. They're making a lot of money. And that's what they see, and that's what they want. And there's nothing wrong with them wanting that. Major League Baseball, if they decide, if they want to capture the American youth, both African American and white, they need to redefine what they want.
Yeah.
And because that's not only do you lose a generation of talent, because if you can play basketball and you can play football and you can play baseball, you may not pitch, but you can definitely play. But you don't have that, then you don't grow the fans, and pretty soon you become the 5th-rated sport, which is a sadness, and it's their fault because they don't look at the young generation. How do we get you all involved, right? How do we get 8, 9, 10-year-olds involved? How do we promote this? You know,
and part of what gets people involved is, for lack of better words or whatever, but being able to see people that look like you playing the sport.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why do the Dominican Republic, why are they dominating baseball right now? Because they have a bunch of players that everyone in the Dominican Republic looks up to. They idolize. They want to be like them. Gone are the days of, you know, a Reggie Jackson, Dwight Gooden, Darryl Strawberry, Ozzie Smith, Ken Griffey Jr., all those people. You don't have those types of people right now, and you barely even have Caucasians or white people that play baseball. Like, we have Mike Trout, but he doesn't even want to talk to anybody. He just, you know, Bryce Harper's just fucking insane. He's like the Kyrie Irving of Major League Baseball. And so you when you're growing up, you have less and less to hold on to of being able to relate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, when you're watching the Home Run Derby, did you watch Home Run Derby? Did you?
Did not.
Okay, we watched the Home Run Derby. 75% of the time, when they were showing the players, they were speaking Latin. Because they were all from the Dominican Republic.
Gotcha.
What 8-year-old or 9-year-old white kid or black kid in America is going to look at them and be able to be like, I can relate to that? You don't even know what the fuck they're saying. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and so you lose it, but you know what LeBron's saying. I wish people didn't know what Kyrie's saying, but they know what Kyrie's saying. They know what Patrick Mahomes and Russell Wilson, Lamar Jackson, Tom Brady, and, you know, Josh Allen are saying. But it's just, it is really weird. When you need, in my opinion, when you need an interpreter to be able to do an interview with 15 out of the 20 best players in Major League Baseball, you lose the relation. Like, there needs to be somebody to step up and make it fun again for people in actual, you know, America. Now, to say that, I love everybody. And, they're great, and they are phenomenal baseball players, and get all the money you can, because they've done some shit to get where they are. So, and they make baseball fun. So, and we need fun.
True. Well, nice little baseball talk there. maybe some more coming in the future. Don't hold your breath,
That's
anybody.
what happens when you say baseball around me. We start talking. You don't let me talk about baseball, goddammit.
We'll have to do it more, especially as we get closer to the playoffs.
I mean, Shaq's about to become a Yankee fan, so we'll start talking about the playoffs.
Isn't Mel a Yankee fan?
Mel, he might be. I really don't know.
I think he is, yeah.
I'm gonna make sure I become
When he
a.
does his research.
I feel like I have to become a Braves fan now. Just
I have never been to a baseball game.
me neither.
You guys would have. We need to go to a baseball game together. You guys would have fun.
Seems like it'd be a lot of fun.
And it's cheap, man. It's like $20 a ticket. It's a good ticket.
I feel like a lot of these games, like any from NBA, NFL, and baseball, like going to a physical game, I think it's a whole different experience altogether.
It is,
I've
yeah,
been to a basketball
absolutely.
game, NFL game, it's completely a whole different like vibe, just this atmosphere.
If only there was a good atmosphere in Tampa outside of hockey.
Right, Jesus. Anyway, we're going to get to the next topic of the day, which is some Jeopardy on wide receivers in the NFL. So, I have... Folks, if you're paying attention, you know what's up. Yeah. So I've got a slew of questions on different wide receiver related stats from this most recent year in the NFL. So you guys don't have to worry about anything else just as it pertains to the most
1985.
recent season.
We just need to know what the third receiver did in week 12.
May or may not be a question. So this is split into three categories: AFC, NFC, and then the playoffs. So the way this is going to work, I'm going to show you guys the categories here.
You need to show America.
Yeah, I don't know how well you guys can.
Oh, they can see
It's
it.
just the
Yeah,
it's
we got a little Jeopardy
board
here.
right there.
Those
Yeah.
of you above the age of like 28, you know what Jeopardy is.
Listen, first of all, don't respect Alistair Beck. That's disrespectful. He's an institution. Second of all, if you do not answer a question with what is, you're automatically wrong on the This is Jeopardy, people.
I mean, like I said,
We do it the right way.
So the way this
Oh, shit, Hannah right here. See that? Get ready.
the way we'll do this is we'll have somebody start it off first, and you can pick whichever category in a
We'll
row.
let G-Money go first. He's
Cool.
the guest. He brought the Don Julio.
If he gets it right, he can pick his next question. So as many he can keep getting right, he can just keep going from spot to spot. If he gets it wrong, then the next two people raise your hand to steal the
We're about to
question.
just
Break shit over.
this is where the mic problem comes in.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I don't know if I should stand over there or if I'm good.
No,
where
you're
I'm at.
good
I'm
where
good
you're
here. Okay.
This man.
Alright. So, and if you guys can just keep track of your own dollar amount. I'm not going to memorize.
You got
Yeah,
it.
right,
It ain't hard to keep track of zero.
Oh, yeah, negative numbers.
all right. G-Money.
All right, let's start off with NFC for 400.
NFC for 400. All right. Okay, so NFC 400 is led the AFC. Led the NFC North in reception yards.
Who is Devontae Adams?
That is incorrect, Malin.
Who is Cooper Cup?
It is incorrect.
Mother.
It's NFC North. NFC North. Shaq, are you going
North.
to?
I didn't hear North. Didn't hear North. Hey, you were still in the right division, though.
I have no response for this.
You're not gonna take a okay. It was Justin Jefferson.
Yeah.
You know, I forgot the Vikings were a team.
Like the rest of the NFL.
They've never won a Super Bowl, so they're irrelevant to me.
All right, I guess Malin, you want to go next?
Sweet. Let's go AFC for 200.
AFC for 200. Who led the AFC in reception yards?
Shit.
Might as well.
That happened. Tyreek Hill.
Incorrect.
I was also gonna say Tyreek Hill, but
Just say an answer. Somebody. Yeah.
Who is Jamar Chase?
There we go. 200 to G Money. Who is Jamar Chase? Was indeed it. G Money, you can pick your next one.
Let's go NFC for 200.
NFC for 200. This person led the NFC in reception yards.
Who is Cooper Kupp?
Correct. 200 more in G Money's pockets.
Let's go NFC for 600.
NFC for 600. Oh, NFC for 600. The only NFC team to not have a single player on the top 80 receiver list. The only NFC team to not have a single player on the top 80 receiver.
You know, this was that obscure shit we were talking about.
Now, if you think it may not, you can probably figure it out.
I'm sure we got to. Okay.
I'm thinking hard now.
You got like 3 seconds.
Who are the Chicago Bears?
Incorrect. Malin, go ahead.
I'm going, who is the Carolina Panthers?
Incorrect.
Mother. Fuck.
Yeah.
Seattle.
Okay. It was.
Kiss my
DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett.
Throwing out names now.
Who are the Giants? Kenny Galladay was number 82.
Oh yeah, I forgot they were even a team.
Once again, we gotta start thinking about the most irrelevant teams for this.
Alright, Shaq's turn now since no one got that one.
Yeah, Shaq.
What is playoffs for 200?
You don't need to say that. It's only the answer, which you failed to do. So you said what is when you picked the thing, but not when you've given a single answer so far. So we're in the learning phase.
There's a lot of learning phases. All 96, 94 episodes, whatever. Learning phase.
They led the postseason in reception yards.
Are the Rams?
This is a player.
Oh. What is Tyreek? Can we go Tyreek?
What the fuck? He's the AFC.
This is playoffs.
Oh, playoffs.
It's Cooper. Yeah.
Jesus Christ. How many points was that?
200.
This man said the team that Cooper Kupp played on and then didn't pick a wide receiver from that team.
Look, I was thinking collective effort of a team.
We're going to do playoffs for 400.
All right, that's 400. This team had 2 receivers in the top 5 playoff receiving list.
Who are the Bills?
That was really easy.
You memorized that one.
It is incorrect. Go ahead, Shaq.
Just look off of this. We're going to go again. What are the Rams?
It is incorrect.
Fuck the process.
Who are the Bengals?
There he is. It was Jamar Chase.
I refuse to say
and,
Bengals for anything at all.
Alright, so that was 400 with Gary.
You don't say bungles, or you know.
What is
You
irrelevant
can
to
say
my
Cincinnati bitches. You won't know who you're talking about.
One thing about this app is it doesn't
I'm keeping track.
All right. Gary, you can pick.
Well, Alex, I'll take your mother for 200.
You gotta do it in Sean Connery voice.
Yeah.
Your mother. Your mother likes it, Trebek.
Let's do the AFC for 600.
All right.
I'm sorry for your mom, by the way. You did throw up everything, didn't you?
Okay, AFC 600. The only AFC teams who not have a single player on the top 80 receiver list.
Who are the New York Jets? God damn it. Things could be someone else.
It is the
I
Jets.
knew that was my pick.
Number
God damn.
81.
How much was that?
600.
God damn.
G Money. He's G Money.
Shaq, you don't have any points.
Thank you.
you have 0 points.
He sits 200 points above me.
You know what? 200 more than what you got. If we were in Vegas, I'm still betting in slot machines. You're not.
I'm in the parking lot
What would you
crying.
like next?
Let's do playoffs for 800.
Playoffs for 800. This team had 3 players on the top playoff reception leaders list. 3 whole players.
Who are the Buffalo Bills?
Incorrect. Go ahead, Malin.
Who are the Los Angeles Rams?
Incorrect.
Fuck.
That was I thought that and I started doing
Yeah.
that. That's
What
not
is
right.
Kansas City?
Correct.
Was that you?
How many points was
Now
that?
you're beating me.
Increments the shit.
God damn, who was that?
It's Travis Kelce.
Kelsey's a tight end, man. What
And
the fuck?
McKinnon.
Kelsey's a tight end. I didn't know we were counting tight ends.
And for reception yards.
This is wide receiver trivia.
That's what she said.
What the fuck?
Upset.
Shaq, go ahead. I think the only one we have left in playoffs is 1,000.
What did playoffs for 1,000?
All right, going straight to the top. Shaq. This person led the Bills in playoff reception yards.
Shit, now names are passing by me on. Now I'm drawing blanks on names now that I'm being put in the spot.
I use my phone.
Have a lifeline.
I know the jersey number. Does that work? Can I have the jersey number? 'Cause I know the jersey number.
I don't know if that counts.
Do you know the jersey number?
If I see names, I can pull names.
Okay.
Come on, man. Jersey number. I know his number's 13. God damn it.
I have no idea what number
I
it
know
is.
it's 13. Because it's not Diggs. I know it's 13.
Let me,
You can look 'em up.
if you're right, okay.
Can I get digs?
Oh, yeah, you can have Diggs. That ain't Diggs. Well, I'll look it up right now.
It's a struggling time in America.
He is. Oh, you did get it right.
Yes.
Gabriel Davis.
God damn it, yes, Gabriel Davis.
1,000 from right under Shaq's nose.
How you doing now?
We're guessing jersey numbers.
I had it right, though. You want to know how I knew it was him? Because he was the one that caught the 2 touchdowns at the end of the game against the Chiefs.
He has a vowel in his name.
He was the one that caught the 2 touchdowns. I knew.
He has a last name.
I could see it. I could see the player catching it. But I couldn't
Second
remember.
letter is a vowel.
All right, we're gonna do NFC for 1,000.
1,000. All right.
Go big, go home.
All right. This NFC division had 3 players on the top 10 receiver list.
For total stats, huh?
Right.
Gotta be NFC West.
The answer is NFC West.
Goddamn right.
Cooper Kupp, Debo Samuel, and Tyler Lockett.
Do AFC for 1,000.
This man's like,
Here we go.
competition out.
Catch me now, shit.
I'll give a damn long second to get into this.
Okay. The only division in the AFC to have 3 players on the top 10 receiver list.
They have 3 players. I'm gonna go AFC West.
That is incorrect.
God,
East.
I which one it was.
What is AFC East?
That is incorrect.
Damn it.
It's wide open for you. It's wide open for you, Gary.
What did you say, Shaq?
Don't you worry about it. Don't you worry about it.
God damn it.
Go ahead and take a guess.
Son of a bitch.
Why'd you say the AFC East?
I don't know.
There was one division I was thinking of, and I was like, no.
Yeah.
The AFC North.
You got
Yes.
it.
Fuck.
Because I was thinking, okay,
Yeah.
you got Jefferson, you got Adams.
Hey, I just thought all of a sudden we were counting Kelsey again, so I didn't know when
You would have been
Kelsey
lumped in
shows
there.
up or not.
I think we are down to. We still have NFC for 800. We still have AFC for 800.
Right now, G Money is beating me by 200 points, and Shaq's over.
All right.
I think those are the
Let's
last.
do the AFC 8.
Like even mentioning my stats now.
Okay.
Hey, you were beating me for like a minute.
One question.
Shaq would like to do the AFC Central, specifically Pittsburgh, please.
So get it wrong.
So for AFC for 800, the only tight end to be a top 10 receiver in the AFC.
Who is Kelsey?
That is incorrect.
Oh shit.
In the AFC.
Don't be so fast to raise your hands.
You see the same thing, and I don't know. That's an easy question.
I know, yeah, the answer on that one. There was another tight end.
Shit, I can see the spelling now. There's an A in it. So
You're on to something.
Okay, you want to know what's interesting though? You should have known it wasn't Kelsey because of my last answer not having 3 people in the AFC West. Not being in
That
the
is
top 10,
true.
Because if Kelsey was in there, that probably would have been
Right,
AFC
yeah.
West. Oh shit, there's other tight ends in there. Probably Cincinnati's tight end, because that's the fucking winner on all these goddamn things. Apparently, because of Chase. But I don't know his jersey number.
Cincinnati's more than 3 players doing something.
I have no idea. Dude.
Oh, pay attention to those.
Nothing, no shots in the dark.
No.
I ain't even got a shot in the fucking dark. Who is it?
It is Mark Andrews,
Mark Andrews.
of the Baltimore
Ravens.
Ravens.
Motherfucker.
Who would have guessed Mark?
Who the fuck cares about the Baltimore Ravens tight end?
It's like there's one good player on the team almost. It's been
Who hasn't been traded yet.
Right.
That way, when Lamar comes back, he has no one to throw the ball to.
I can run it every play. Got it.
Yes. So which is, I think,
What's
last thing is
available?
NFC for 800 is the last one.
NFC for 800 is the last one?
Yes.
Alright, let's do it.
Can you win off of this?
I could.
Okay. This is a doozy. This receiver led the NFC South in reception yards. This is a doozy.
Motherfucker, because the way you say it, it's
Don't
not
be
who-
so fast.
It's not who I think it is.
It is not at all who you think it is.
It's a Calvin Ridley.
It is not.
God. You had me not thinking Tampa Bay.
Right.
Probably a fucking Carolina Panther. Anybody know who plays?
No.
My wild guess would be, even though it's probably not correct, would be who's Mike Evans?
It is incorrect.
That's who I was going to say, but he said it was a doozy, so I knew it wasn't Mike Evans because that's who I was going to go with. Come on, Shaq, you can be respectable.
Respectable, like I ain't gonna
Could
do
Shaq
that.
catch up?
No.
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 He's still in third place regardless.
You would have to make this 1,000. I would still be behind.
Just give us a goddamn answer right now, man.
It is DJ Moore of the
Moore.
Carolina Panthers.
See, I told you, Carolina Panthers. So G Money wins by 200.
There he
Good
goes.
job, buddy.
Money collecting his money.
That's a good try. No, you actually got 800. Don't sell
800.
yourself short there.
I'd have been like 0. I was trying to do.
We don't even remember it. I just know we got 800. I don't even
remember how we got to it, but he did.
I think
I think it was the playoffs on the 800 one. Whatever the playoff one was.
Oh, it was the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Once again, the Chiefs.
And that was when I was like, I didn't know Kelsey was a wide receiver. All of a
Right,
sudden, this is
right.
wide receiver Jeopardy.
Okay.
But that's fine. You could have called it pass catcher.
This man is
Jeopardy.
upset off the 800 points that they got one question right.
I would have liked Shaq to get a fat 0, but no.
We got one question right. You get battling and I answered ever since.
I'm going to bring it up an hour from now. Too.
Unfair loss. Those men
Like, you
deserve
guys remember that
anything.
time that Jalen did that Jeopardy with tight ends and thought he wanted to do Jeopardy?
All right.
Those tight ends want to get paid like wide receivers.
They do. They still not, but they do.
We're going to move into the news for the week.
Got some
See you
good
later,
news.
Jeopardy. On to the news. The news graphic is unavailable this week, folks. We'll just have to settle for getting right on into things. Technical difficulty. All right. Well, we'll start off in the NBA. Deandre Ayton staying in Phoenix after the Suns matched the Pacers' offer for 4 years, $133 million. Seemed like he was going to be gone for a second, but he's still a Sun. What do you guys think about D. Ayton staying in Phoenix?
Yeah, he looks at me.
Phoenix Sun aficionado.
All right. I mean, why wouldn't you just want to stay on the team that you're comfortable with if they can pay the same money for leaving instead of having to relearn playing with different people and different atmosphere and digging up your whole life to move to different cities? So you might as well just stick to the team. It ain't the money gonna be a factor. So
I mean, I think Phoenix was a little bit shrewd on this. Smart, but shrewd. Because he was a restricted free agent. So they knew that whoever gave him an offer sheet, which everyone thought it was going to be the Knicks. Everyone thought the Knicks were going to give him an offer sheet. But the Indiana Pacers, the only, proverbial white team in the NBA, they decide to, give an offer sheet of 4 years, $133 million. I think Phoenix had every intention of offering the max the entire time. Because the max you could offer was 4 years, $133 million. The reason why Phoenix didn't just outright sign him was because they could have signed him instead of a 4 year, $133 million. They could have offered him a 5 year, $179 million contract. They didn't want to do that, so they went ahead and let the Indiana Pacers be a bitch, and do their negotiating for them. And then they had the opportunity to match whatever offer he was given.
Save some money.
And so DeAndre Ayton, he's got to be happy he's staying in Phoenix, but at the same point, he's got to be like, "What the fuck, man? Y'all gonna give me that extra year?" I know we're playing in Phoenix, but we're still an NBA franchise, right? Like, we still got money. You couldn't give me another $46 million. So at the end of the day, he's got generational wealth.
Right.
He'll be a free agent in 4 years. But, yeah, I think that Phoenix played it right. And I think that a lot of people lost sight of the fact that he was a restricted free agent and just thought that Phoenix all along was just going to let him walk to whatever offer sheet they gave him. But Phoenix was just trying to get a lower asking price, I think.
Right. Well
Yeah,
played.
I tend to think that Phoenix, they definitely didn't trust him in the playoffs. I mean, how many minutes did the man play? Not a whole lot.
Yeah.
So, he felt disrespected by Phoenix coaching staff by not showing him what he thought he deserved as far as respect playing time.
I mean, play better then.
I tend to think that Phoenix is going to trade him. Before the trade deadline this next season, he'll be on another team. Because I don't think Phoenix had any desire in keeping him, but they weren't going to let him walk for free either. What was he? He was a first round pick, 3 years ago? Yeah, so why are you going to let someone walk?
Right.
When you can probably trade for someone, into the season and get something else out of it. And really, 4 years of 133, any team that hasn't already traded for another rookie under the
rookie deal.
Can do that.
Yeah, unless you think if he actually balls out between November to February, they'll be like, okay, you're worth hanging on to. Or do you think they're just gonna be like,
well,
go.
he was huge the year before when they made it to the finals, and he played decent during the regular season. But I mean, as far as him getting upset about his playing time in the playoffs, I mean, I guess it's called the playoffs, meaning that you play good and you get minutes. And he didn't play good.
No.
And in times when they were missing Chris Paul or they were missing Booker, he needed to step up, and he did not do that. And so maybe if he had done that in the playoffs, maybe he would have got that 5th year. But yeah, I mean, be upset about your playing time. It's yourself, because he played bad.
Yeah. If you're playing well, the coach is going to play you.
He just didn't stand out as much as you needed to. Like, at the end of the day, not like this man did amazing this playoffs.
He's very wishy-washy. Like, there's one game he'd show up big, the very next game you would forget he's even out there, which is why last time he wasn't out there.
The crazy thing, though, like the way you just said that, though, like to me, that describes Brunson, that just got a big-ass deal from
the
Knicks, where he'd score 42 points and then he'd score like 21 points. But at the end of the day, I mean, like, no one is not giving. There's not a head coach in the NBA, the NFL, or Major League Baseball that's not going to give playing time to somebody that's playing well in the playoffs. Like, right. I mean, I'm just throwing that out there. But good for him. $133 million. That is money. That's $133 million more than what I have.
Probably than all of us.
So good on him. He gets it for 4 years.
Yep.
You know who's not going to have $1 million in 4 years? Me. So good on him. Good job. Sign the contract.
Speaking of money and contracts, James Harden tells the Sixers to improve their roster first and then pay him with whatever is left. James Harden showing that he is a kind, respectable team player, and to go out, get the role players first. He's already made all the money in the world. Then go ahead and pay me. What do you guys think about James Harden?
First off, I'm going to go first on this one, Shaq, because I got to get this out there. Now, saying pay whoever you got to pay to build a championship roster because I want to win, and then pay me what's left over, right? That's cool. But it's not the first time he's ever done this, though. Because this man has been going to Checkers for years at closing time and saying, give me all the food that you guys are going to have to throw away because I'm fucking hungry and it's midnight. Why? Because he's chubby. But at the end of the day, he still said, like, at the end of the day, he's still getting $33 million next year. So apparently they didn't sign a lot of people that maybe he thought they were going to sign because they had a lot of extra money. So let's not act like this man's making $15 an hour playing NBA basketball next year. He's got a player option for another year.
Right.
So, yes, I think he gave back, what, $10 million?
Yeah.
He gave back $10 million.
43?
14.
47, yeah.
I stopped caring about Harden when he was an MVP in Houston. I don't know what the fuck he makes now. But who did they even sign?
I have no idea.
They signed his good friend, PJ.
PJ, yes. They did sign
got PJ Tucker?
They did get PJ Tucker. They got PJ Tucker.
And I don't know who,
that's it.
Really anything else they've got.
But who else were they really going to get?
Right, at this point.
Like, and at the end of the day, does PJ Tucker and a checkers Harden, does that really put you over the top? Stop it. You can't say that when I'm used to you not sitting right next to me when I'm saying stupid shit. At the end of the day, like, does that really put you ahead of Milwaukee, Miami, Boston? See what I did there? Miami, then Boston. Brooklyn's a non-factor. Kyrie's not going to play half the year. So, like, does that even, like, they're still the fourth best team in the East, right?
At best, if everybody stays healthy.
At best. Yeah.
True.
So he gave up $14 million to still get bounced out in the playoffs. That's a fire your fucking agent. Like, how big of a friend is PJ? Like, is he worth? None of y'all are worth $14 million to me. I'll never see you for the rest of my life. If someone were to just hand me $14 million and said, you can't talk to Shaq no more. Done, bitch. I'll sign right here. There's my signature.
And honestly, if you talk to me after that, I'm like, you stupid. I don't want to talk to you anyway. So,
like, at the end of the day, before he gave away $14 million, they were the fourth best team in the East, and they're still the fourth best team in the East.
Yeah.
Maybe, like, other teams might have gotten a little bit better.
I think Atlanta got better.
Yeah, Atlanta did get a little bit better.
So, I mean,
they did.
When you look at it, credit to him. I mean, he's freaking got an outstanding beard. I mean, I love Puffy. I do. That beard is another person. But and in fact, okay, he did give up money.
It's not much another person at this point.
He gave that money up,
He did.
And players don't normally do that. And no, they're not going to get any better. They're really not. Marginally at best. The teams that got better in the East, Boston got hugely better, and not having to give up very much.
Right.
My God, what are they? They gave up a couple of bench players.
Tice.
I think the guy that sells the beer in the stands.
I think they included the guy that shoots the T-shirts in the stands.
Oh yeah. I know they were trying to hold on to it. They didn't really want to do that.
And that's parking spots.
Because the applications for the replacement were a little bit weak.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like, when you think about people giving up money to win a championship, you think of someone like a Tom Brady.
Yeah.
But that motherfucker went out there and won championships.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't see Harden winning a championship. So if I'm going to get bounced out in the first second round of the playoffs next year, pay me $14 million to do it. The only thing that's smart about this contract is he was going into the last year of his contract, the $47 million. He does have a player option. So at the end of the day, even though Philly's not going to want him after next year, he can be like, "What's up, bitches?" He's gonna pull a Westbrook. "What's up, bitches? I'm back." Or in Irving,
Right.
Yeah. "What's up, guys? Keep my jersey number warm because I'm keeping it."
Yeah.
And he's gonna be back, and he's gonna end up with $66 to $68 million. So yeah, damn right, go Hawks. So yeah, at the end of the day, he lost some money this year, but he's probably going to win more money. So yeah.
What I want to know is, why did he wait until one of the last weeks of July to do this?
Well, he had said after the season was over and free agency started that he was willing to. He wasn't going to sign into his option. He was willing to give up money for the 76ers to get better. Now, as we've all discussed, did they really get any better?
Right.
I mean, how much better did they get compared to the other teams who went out there and really did get better?
Yeah. If he told them that at the beginning of free agency, then what the hell were they doing in this meantime with PJ Tucker?
They were trusting the process.
Of course.
Process. Year after year.
We're gonna go ahead and get Fultz and Simmons that can't shoot for shit. Even though this game is predicated on putting the ball in the hoop, we're gonna draft two people number one overall that can't do that.
And neither one are there anymore.
So.
Well, congrats to the Harry Marshmallow Man for playing himself with Indiana $14 million.
I love that name. Harry Marshmallow Man. We need to call in the Ghostbusters and get that motherfucker. Absolutely.
Speaking of can't shoot, Russell Westbrook part ways with his agent after 14 years over irreconcilable differences. There was a few different rumors as to what exactly it was, and I mean, who knows if anybody will ever know besides those two. But yeah, after his whole career, his agent said, "I'm out. You're on your own." And Russ is still Russ. He will probably still be the starting point guard of the Lakers. Any thoughts on Russ's professional life?
keep it short. This man should have parted ways with many more things before his agent. The Lakers, his career, his jersey, anything. So the fact that this man chose like, you know what my problem is? My agent. Yeah, fuck my agent. I'm gonna go ahead and. Which honestly, that man's probably working magic to maintain that man's career on any
Probably.
team. So
I will say, from what I read, his agent did mention that he thought it was within Russ's best interest to stay with the Lakers. I feel like he wouldn't have thrown that out there unless that was one of the reasons, like that was one of their disagreements.
Hey, but then why listen to your agent and opt in and then fire your agent?
Right, which is
for that
what
reason.
still confuses
Now,
me.
one of the other reports is that his agent told him that he should get a shooting coach during the offseason.
Right.
That could benefit a lot of people, except the homeless, because he was building houses for them. So the impoverished society of LA are the only ones
Vetoing that.
that stand to lose if Russell Westbrook develops a shot. But like we were talking earlier in the living room, before we even started the show, that a lot of people like Russell Westbrook that drive the hoop, that are extremely physical, talented, all-stars, MVPs. You get into your early mid-30s. Most of them that stay relevant, they develop a jump shot. He kept the brick shot. He's patented it. He's got a trademark out. He's selling T-shirts, people. He's got towels in purple and yellow that you can swing in the arena. He's really excited about it. He thinks it's really going to help his brand. And I don't think his agent liked that too. So I think that's another reason why I fired his agent. But at the end of the day, when you're somebody that's been your agent for 14 years, that's somebody that you have listened to.
Yeah.
On 85 to 95% of the most important life decisions that you've made over 14 years.
Right.
And now all of a sudden, you're like, nah, man, you're the problem. No, bitch, like your jump shot's the problem. Your turnovers are the problem. Your inability, like he is the only all-star, the only all-star that couldn't win with LeBron James.
That's crazy.
That's a problem.
Absolutely.
If LeBron James can take flat earth and motherfucking Kyrie Irving to the finals multiple times and win one and beat the 73-win Warriors team, if he could take a one-legged Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh that forgot who he was and win 2 championships there, okay? If he can take the unibrow yelling Kobe healthy for 2 months out of his entire career and win a chip in the bubble, and now all of a sudden Westbrook comes in and you can't win with LeBron James?
Yeah.
You're the only great NBA player that's ever played with LeBron James that he can't win with.
If you think about
That says something.
some of the point guards LeBron has won with, Kyrie, 35, 36-year-old Rondo, and Mario Chalmers when he was in Miami, and then you throw in Russell Westbrook, and you can't even make the playoffs with him?
Yeah. Much less not even go to the finals and lose.
Right.
Which LeBron James has made half of his career out of taking teams that shouldn't be going to the finals and take them to the finals and lose. But you can't even go to the playoffs with Russell Westbrook.
my thing is, I don't see where his agent's wrong in any of those decisions. Stay with the Lakers, because in all reality, that's probably your best chances of getting a ring.
Yeah, don't go. Please do not pick
And
up.
gaining a jump shot is like, that's
You
basics.
should do that.
It's like all those things are right, but you somehow got upset about that and decided, none of this over.
I'm just saying that Dellavedova
Yeah,
was
he
a
got
point guard.
That's the finals
They
with
went
Matthew
to the
Dellavedova.
finals.
and actually won a
with
couple
LeBron
games.
James. Okay, J.R. Smith went to the finals with LeBron James.
And they've been sipping Henny on the sidelines.
Like, and this man that's won multiple MVPs, has had multiple triple-double seasons, couldn't even go to the playoffs. Like, that's a problem.
Yeah. Well,
fire the agent.
Get the hell out of here. Get the hell up out of here right now.
Get the shooting coach.
Well, man's getting paid, so what can you tell him?
Again, he has however millions of dollars he's making next year. That's his millions of dollars more than what I have.
Yep.
So good on him.
Well, I think that will do it for the news. We're gonna go to halftime here, and then when we come back, we've got what's up with that, and then our AFC West record predictions. So we will be back in just a bit.
Yo, I just want it all. I just want a ball. Diamond wrist drip, slip through the pitfalls. I just want to chill with the big dogs. House on the hill with a big dog. Make it a ride. I'm taking a lot. So it's about time that I get what I got. And it's about time that I get what I need. And yes, I'm needy. I need to succeed. Know what I need? I need it all. So I don't live with my back to the wall. Don't have to answer whenever you call. Who that on the line? It don't matter, dog. Oh, not at all. Oh, what a gift. Just to be rich and not giving a shit. Just to be rich and not giving a shit. Pinky up, I'm gonna take me a sip.
I need the cash, money signs on every bag. Green in the eye of each lad. Pockets so fat like I'm smuggling packs. I only deal with my time in these maps. Role playing the tactician and craft. Art of success, if I dub it, is that. As dinners in fact guarantee for a hunter. When I see in the mirror who trumping. I need my anthem to blare with some trumpets. Mama's fair for repair and she also consistently stable and nothing could offset me. A boss type beat, lead the starship stream through outer space. I'm a star, baby boo, better watch the race. And you'll see me live today and I try eating it just don't break. Except all the bread we make with two hands. Better get your ball together and stretch bands. Do it all for as long as you can. Get your sandwich ready and go hand up baloney. Niggas just can't comprehend.
Yo, cash rules everything around me. In that I am drowning, cause I don't know accounting. Blame it on my school system, blame it on my county. In that I am drowning, blame it on my clowning. Blame it on my young and my dumb, and not knowing where it's from, and not knowing where it's going. Might as well throw it in the ocean. As I put my back in motion, might as well throw it on some drinks. Hit a Miami for 2 weeks, might as well throw it on the beach. I don't give a fuck about the economy. They ain't never helping those in poverty. They ain't never coming here to save you. Waiting on that trickle down in your rain boots. You the blood, sweat, and tears of this whole operation, though. You will make it operational, but don't deserve paid vacation, though. I don't know what I look like. Boo-boo the fool, I'm losing my cool. I need to make moves, get my community under a groove. Like one nation, so we never lose. Nothing can stop us now. They will not knock us down. We will not chill while they chop us down. That is not simply allowed. I'm not the one to kowtow. Cash rules everything around me. In that I am drowning, cause I don't know accounting. Blame it on my school system, blame it on my county. In that I am drowning, blame it on my clowning. Blame it on my young and my dumb, and not knowing where it's from, and not knowing where it's going. Might as well throw it in the ocean. I put my back in motion, might as well throw it on some drinks. Hit a Miami for 2 weeks, might as well throw it on the beach.
beach lad. Pockets so fat like I'm smuggling packs. I only deal with my time in these maps. Role playing the tactician and craft. All the success if I dub it is that. As dinners and fat guarantee for a hunter. When I see in the mirror who trumping. I need my anthem to blare with some trumpets. Mama's fair for repair and she also consistently stable and nothing could offset me. A boss type beat, lead the starship stream through outer space. I'm a star baby boo, better watch the race and you'll see me live today and die trying to just don't break except all the bread we make with 2 hands. Better get your ball together and stretch bands. Do it all for as long as you can. Get your sandwich ready and go ham. The baloney niggas just can't comprehend.
Yo, cash rules everything around me. In that I am drowning, cause I don't know accounting. Blame it on my school system, blame it on my county. In that I am drowning, blame it on my clowning. Blame it on my young and my dumb, and not knowing where it's from, and not knowing where it's going. Might as well throw it in the ocean. As I put my back in motion, might as well throw it on some drinks. Hit a Miami for 2 weeks, might as well throw it on the beach. I don't give a fuck about the economy. They ain't never helping those in poverty. They ain't never coming here to save you. Waiting on that trickle down in your rain boots. You the blood, sweat, and tears of this whole operation, though. You will make it operational, but don't deserve paid vacation, though. I don't know what I look like. Boo boo the fool, I'm losing my cool. I need to make moves, get my community under a groove. Like one nation, so we never lose. Nothing can stop us now. They will not knock us down. We will not chill while they chop us down. That is not simply allowed. I'm not the one to kowtow. Cash rules everything around me. In that I am drowning, cause I don't know accounting. Blame it on my school system, blame it on my county. In that I am drowning, blame it on my clowning. Blame it on my young and my dumb, and not knowing where it's from, and not knowing where it's going. Might as well throw it in the ocean. I put my back in motion, might as well throw it on some drinks. In a Miami for 2 weeks, might as well throw it on the beach. Oh yeah. She love to back it up when we hit the club. She love show me love. Oh yeah. She love to back it up when we hit the club. She love show me love. Oh yeah.
Baby girl, hold up, hold it right there. 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 Baby girl, hold up, hold it right there.
She love to back it up when we hit the club. She love show me love. Oh yeah. She love to back it up when we hit the club. She love show me love. Oh yeah.
Baby girl, hold up, hold it right there. 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 Baby girl, hold up, hold it right there.
Ready to put down the show properly. Draft these people. Welcome back, folks, to your favorite show on the internet. Hope you like that custom halftime. A little different than usual. How are y'all feeling? We've been at it for almost an hour and a half.
I'm feeling better than Shaq's next date. But
You say that now.
Some people go to the infirmary, some people go to jail. I don't know what's going to happen.
I don't know what we're insinuating here, but
well, you know what we need to do, guys? We need to drink more. So
that's exactly what the show needs is more alcohol.
Yeah. As we have filled up our glasses with more Don Julio, the next thing we need to do is take more shots of bourbon. That's a good idea.
So I know we've been drinking as the shots get smoother and smoother in the process. I'm kind of like, this bro.
I'm just saying, if it's 10:55 at night and you're under the age of 21 and you're watching this show, I'm going to pull a Charles Barkley and say we are not a role model. So,
trust me, if you're watching this show for a role model, you're the wrong part of the internet.
I have no comment on that. I'm having a really good time with you guys tonight.
One of my more favorite episodes, I'll be honest with you already.
Absolutely.
A lot better than Ryan falling down.
Oh, that was if anything, that was the most stressful episode that I've ever been on. Is Ryan falling down into the water?
We're not gonna have to clean up puke out of a sink.
That was set up to be the most perfect episode, and it just turned into the exact opposite. We were in a studio. We had everybody in person from across the country, and then Ryan's in a pile of boxes halfway through the episode.
It's flattening water and Doritos.
These people came to their studio the next day with crushed snacks.
Fucking kids in Africa, they don't have water. You got water breaking your fall with your drunk ass.
Big ass on that fucking water.
Knocking over the tripod and everything in the process.
Jesus.
I mean, it appeared as being someone who's just watching it that he was drunk. For like 5 minutes into the show, he was like shit faced, and then you're asking him questions. Oh, that's his shot, my friend. Then you gotta ask him, who was your 11th grade teacher? Yeah, dude, man, what's wrong with you taking that shot?
I think he was. I think he was missing questions on purpose.
No.
All I'm saying is that the Atlantic sunk the Titanic, but Zephyrhill's water kept Ryan afloat. Like, it saved his ass. So that's one thing we got going here.
On that note, let's hop into what's up with that.
You got a comment there.
To kick off what's up with that, let me read a comment that was on Instagram. This is on a video that we made 2 weeks ago, I believe. We talked about the possible two schools joining the Big Ten. So my
Tarosa.
He commented on that segment saying, first power conference to eat up several teams was ACC, then others joined in Pac-10, became Pac-12, and got Utah plus Colorado. Then independents joined in unjoined conferences. All right, using periods here. Then independents joined unjoined. SEC gets Texas and Oklahoma in 2025. Big Ten gets Southern Cal and UCLA in 2024. Then other conferences do the same and start inviting and paying teams to join them. So just business as usual.
Yeah. Couple cute things there. First of all, English is cool. Punctuation is even greater. So let's break it down a little bit. So first of all, yes, you are right that the ACC was the first conference out of the last 20 years to poach a few teams, and that's what ended up with Miami and Florida State no longer being part of the Big East, which ruined one of the better basketball conferences that we ever had. Yeah, that is true. And you're also right about the Pac-10 getting a couple world beaters in Utah and Colorado. So that's neat. It kind of sounds like he's kind of insinuating that the ACC and the Pac-10 are the ones that are responsible for this type of push for mega conferences. There's a couple fallacies in what he's talking about here. One, he's forgetting about the fact that Missouri and Texas A&M went to the SEC in the middle of all this, but that's cute. Second, this is all TV money. This is Fox and ESPN trying to get the most TV money they can, and they want to be the ones dictating who the national champion is. And so, yes, it started a long time ago, but you never had teams like a Texas and Oklahoma jumping ship to another conference, or a USC jumping ship to another conference. When Miami and Florida State moved, they weren't Florida Miami State from what they used to be. Now, Florida State didn't win a national championship because they got lucky with one QB and, crab legs Winston. And they got lucky one year, won a national title, and then they did go back to the playoff one other year. But outside of that, Florida State and Miami have not been nearly what they were in the 90s. So when they left the Big East and went to the ACC, it was not the same as Texas and Oklahoma going to the SEC and USC going to Big Ten. This is all money. It's TV contracts. It's universities being big business that want to go from getting $30 million from TV money to $60 to $75 million in TV money. That's what they're looking at. It's not about tradition. It's not about, rivalries. It's not about the students. It's not about the athletics. It's not about saving athletics that are not college football and men's basketball. Like, I'm sick and tired of hearing UCLA talk about the fact that they would have to get rid of a lot of other sports if they didn't make that move. No, you would have had to get rid of those other sports because you hired dumbass coaches before, and you still have another dumbass coach in Chip Kelly right now that you're probably going to fire another year. You're going to pay him money. They're paying $55 million next year to two head coaches that aren't even coaching on the team. That's why men's and women's swimming in volleyball and gymnastics were on the cutting line of sports in UCLA because the athletic department couldn't manage their own budget. So miss me with the fact that it's the Pac-10 or the ACC's fault. This is ESPN and Fox wanting to secure all of this TV money and universities jumping for money. That's all it is. It's just a business now.
Now that I've read it again, it kind of seems like he was saying, or she was saying, like this is just kind of how things naturally go. But even with what you're saying, it still negates that argument because it does seem like a lot of TV money getting involved.
That's not even what naturally what was happening because when Miami and Florida State and a couple of schools went to the ACC out of the Big East, there wasn't even the TV money that there is now. They were making that move to try to solidify recruiting more than even TV money at that point. It was more about the recruiting base of the ACC. That's why the ACC wanted those schools to join, because the ACC wanted the Florida recruiting pool. They wanted to be able to recruit from Florida. That's why they attracted them. It wasn't so much about the money at that point. In the Pac-12, when they got Colorado and Utah, I believe that was on the heels of Texas A&M and Missouri going to the SEC. And the Pac-12 did make the dumbass decision of starting their own network instead of joining on with another network and getting TV money from there. But that was more, them becoming the Pac-12 was more reactionary to A&M and Missouri, I believe. If my timeline's correct, G-Money, I think it is. I think it was A&M and Missouri, and then it was Colorado and Utah after that, wasn't it?
No, I think it was Colorado, Utah, and Nebraska went to the Big Ten.
Nebraska went to the Big Ten. Yeah, that's another one they fucking missed.
They forget that
all that bad punctuation in those three teams.
These teams go to try and part of it was money, and the other part was to expand your recruiting, because when Nebraska left the Big 12, it was Nebraska, Oklahoma, Texas. Those were the big three in football. Nebraska hasn't been that since then.
Yeah. Well, they haven't even been what they were since the mid-'90s anyway, so it wasn't really like the Big 12 was losing anything because Texas was the big hitter from 2000 to 2010. Oklahoma came back on the scene from 2010 till now. Oklahoma's been the one going to the playoffs or whatnot. Nebraska, I think, was just. I think they needed to feel a little bit of relevance again, and I think they thought that they would have a better shot in the Big Ten at the time. But you're right, it was a little bit to do about the money. But I think it was like no one's making these moves now for recruiting.
No,
that's the
everything
problem.
now is all about money.
But the other ones were recruiting. Even A&M in Missouri was about recruiting. It wasn't even about the money because A&M in Missouri, they weren't bringing a whole lot to the table for TV markets. They were bringing, it was basically Texas in the recruiting pool is what SEC wanted. And LSU was against A&M joining because LSU was right on the border of Texas, and they were kind of getting most of those Texas recruits, just like A&M didn't want Texas to join because A&M liked being the only SEC team that's in Texas.
Yeah.
But now it's just strictly about the money. Like USC and UCLA are not joining the Big Ten because they want to recruit in Michigan
Ohio,
or Maryland. You know what I mean? It's about the money, strictly about the money. So, and UCLA can kiss my ass. And UCLA might not even be able to make the move because it's a state college getting state funding, and the state is having hearings right now as we speak this week, possibly blocking that, saying, no, you're not going to leave this conference and still get state money. USC can go because it's a private institution. UCLA has a little bit of a different story.
I didn't know USC was private.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, with all that being said, thank you, Mike Rosa. Nice perspective there. Well, we welcome your response on episode 95. Now, getting into what's up with that. Anybody want to kick it off with their what's up with that?
I mean, you cleared your throat. You're clearly ready.
All right. My only thing is, I respect the history of certain teams, but I am completely down for redoing and getting rid of certain teams for being such a god-awful team in the past 20 years of watching them and being irrelevant. And we're going to strictly attack Detroit Lions as much as we do for abusing and wasting multiple Hall of Fame talents as we go along, as we go on to, like, think of all the Hall of Fame talents you've seen that have never seen a Super Bowl and or playoffs because the godforsaken Detroit Lions have ruined it for them altogether. Can we be honest?
Are we just talking about the Lions?
No, there's many more. Like we could go to the Bears and things like that. But if you think of like Barry Sanders, Megatron, all those people who were once
two.
I mean,
you talk about Calvin Rogers was a decent one.
Yes.
Are you gonna say Matt Stafford?
Well, I mean,
I would even go Matthew. I was gonna say I'm at Matthew Stafford.
I don't think we're talking about Joey Harrington.
No. We're talking about all these people who deserve Super Bowls, who were if any other team would have gotten so much more, but because of the unfortunate draw of straws, ended up on this godforsaken team.
Here's the thing about, I will say this about Lucas, because we say that people deserve Super Bowls, right? All of these players we're talking about played in free agency, right? Mm-hmm. So they could have left it some other time. But they stayed and they were loyal, whatever. Mm-hmm. The Lions, back in the mid-'90s, with Barry Sanders, they actually had a pretty good team. And Scott Mitchell was their quarterback who came into his own when Dan Marino tore his ACL, and he was lights out for Miami for that 1 year, then he went to Detroit. And he was one of the few quarterbacks back in the day in the 90s that could throw for 4,000 yards. I think he did it at least once. The problem is that they were so one-dimensional in their offensive philosophy of Barry Sanders or nothing when it came to crunch time, and they would just always shit the bed in the playoffs. Like the Detroit Lions in Barry Sanders' time didn't have a problem making the playoffs. They made the playoffs several years. The problem is they never won in the playoffs. Megatron, yeah, he was one of 4 first-round draft picks that were wide receivers. I remember Rodgers being one, Mike Williams. I think there were 2 Williams. 2 Williams, Rodgers, and Calvin Johnson. 4 years in a row, their number 1 draft pick was a wide receiver. Want to know why? Matt Millen was their GM. Matt Millen, who would show up to work in overalls. Okay? Matt Millen was a hell of a player when he played in the NFL. I believe he played for the San Francisco 49ers, correct?
He played for the Raiders first.
Raiders first, then the Niners. So he was a multiple Super Bowl winning player in the NFL. Great player, shit GM. And so that was kind of wrong with that. But are you saying get rid of them or relocate?
Right.
Like, what else do you want to take from Detroit? They don't even have good drinking. We're taking away manufacturing.
And apparently lead in the water is affecting their ability
The
to.
stadium isn't even there anymore. They don't even play in Detroit.
So what do you? So where do they go?
Relocate or redistribute these teams elsewhere. Different GMs, different management, coaching, whatever. So I feel like now it's like they don't even want to win anything at this point in time, and we're just think about it.
I think relocate is the more, because I mean, if you take the Raiders for example, they moved out of Oakland
And they're better.
and they're immediately better.
Better, but how
Not immediately better. They were decent when they were in Oakland. They went to the playoffs. Derek Carr was one broken ankle away from having a really good year back in 2018 or 2019. I think it was 2018. Maybe it was 2018. That was a really strong Oakland team when they had Khalil Mack, when they had Cooper, and they had Derek Carr. And, you know, they didn't go to the Super Bowl back in 2002 before that. So they were really terrible for Rutgers because, I mean, shit, they drafted Jamarcus Russell. But I kind of feel like you just want to drop a nuke on Detroit, first of all.
I mean, why are you trying to make me feel bad? You literally said drop a nuke on Tampa as you live.
Yeah, I mean, if it's a betterment for the world, I'll take one for the team.
But I'm just saying, when's the last time you saw Detroit in play?
But outside of Detroit, well, it's been a very long time. Well, no, it was just back in 20. They went in 2018, didn't they?
Did 2016?
No, not 2016. No, because Romo was the quarterback. Romo was still quarterbacking with Des Bryant when Detroit went, so it wasn't that long ago.
It's still a sorry ass team altogether that we keep intact purely because of history.
Okay. Well, now I will say this. I think we can get rid of Detroit playing on Thanksgiving.
I said that weeks ago, and all of a sudden I got ridiculed for.
No, nobody ridiculed.
But I've drank a little bit more Don Julio since the last time that we talked about this, so I can maybe agree with you on that. But what other teams are we talking about? 'Cause I'd like to get rid of the Cardinals.
Chicago. That's because it's personal for you.
You can't get rid of Chicago, though.
No, because they actually went to the Super Bowl, what, 2006?
No, that was 2006. That was a while ago.
They actually went. I mean,
Name 3 players off the Chicago Bears.
Chicago Bears.
Yeah, Fields.
Okay.
Khalil Mack is 2.
No, Khalil Mack was traded.
Fuck. Yes, it was.
I was going to say Mack.
Andy, I don't think so. I do know that they have a C on their helmet. I know that.
I would say out of both 4 collective heads, and mine being, of course, 95%.
I might not even be able to. Okay, I can name probably 5 players on the Steelers, so I can name 4 more.
Are you trying to compare relevance to the Chicago Bears?
No, I'm not. But what I'm saying is that, listen, you're talking about a team that was quarterbacked for a better part of a decade by Rex Grossman and Jay Cutler. Like, what do you want from them?
To choose a different quarterback at draft better than having these 2 hooligans throw the football
Not
around.
everybody gets a Ben Roethlisberger for like 18
I'm
months.
not
Can't all get a model citizen like Ben Roethlisberger.
Okay, I'm not trying to even bring up my own team in this this man.
Okay, so you said multiple teams. So let's come up with another one here.
The Jets.
The Jets.
The Jets, yeah. Well, you can't get rid of the Jets until Namath dies. Like, when Joe dies, you can get rid of the Jets. But up until then, I need a drunk Joe Namath to show up on a broadcast at some point.
Yeah.
And hit on a female reporter. I need that in my life. So when he dies, you can get rid of the Jets. But until then, you can't do it. I think the Carolina Panthers.
I'm not gonna say that because we have another person on this channel that likes Panthers. I will say the Jags. We can get rid of the Jags altogether too.
There's a sun on that horizon.
They had one good season a couple years ago, and
Jacksonville.
Yeah, that's what we just said.
What you said?
That's the dumb. You
said the Jacks. But you said Carolina.
Well, I said Carolina. He said Jacks. A couple others here. Okay, so there has to be more though, right?
we could find. There's about 4 to 5 teams that we can
It's too
proud.
early to call the Giants.
Oh
No, you got to keep the Giants because they beat the Patriots in the Super Bowl and kept us from
His personal-
Tom Brady
If they got it right.
like being the Messiah. Houston is one. They already lost the Oilers. Like, do you really deserve another team if you lose the Oilers?
And you haven't built a
Like-
team since then.
Like, you lost the Oilers when they had just drafted Steve McNair and they had Eddie George.
Yeah.
And then they still went to Tennessee. And before that, they broke Earl Campbell's body. And they had Warren Moon.
Yeah.
I mean, Earl Campbell can't walk because of what he did on the AstroTurf and the Astrodome. So you can definitely get rid of Houston. They don't deserve a team. I think if we're really talking about it, we should really discuss the Cowboys. Because they have not gone to the NFC Championship game since 1995.
Their fan base would burn the rest of the country down if you got rid of the Cowboys.
Does most of their fan base even live in the U.S.?
Because most of their fan base,
Most of their fan base couldn't find their way out of Texas.
and most of their fan base graduate high school. No, but we sit here
Their
and
fan
tolerate
base
this.
doesn't even know what a star is. I mean, they see the logo on the helmet and they don't even know what it is.
They couldn't tell you what the 13 stripes are for. And
But
they
so if we're
allowed
really
them
talking
to.
about relevance, though, if we're really talking about relevance, you can throw the Cowboys into relevancy. Like everyone talks them up.
But yeah,
I
I mean,
mean-
and they've had decent players. I mean, it's not like they've drafted so bad that you're looking at them going like, what
No.
the fuck?
They had statistically on paper, this team should be a whole lot better than they are. But like,
100%. If the Undertaker, Jerry Jones, was not the owner of the Cowboys, if he was not the owner of the Cowboys, would they even be relevant?
no, not at all.
They wouldn't. They would be the Chicago Bears right now. Jerry Jones, because of the money he puts into that franchise, is what keeps that team relevant.
So in all reality, there's enough teams that we could probably get rid of
But move them to other. We don't.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say get rid
No,
of
I'm
it.
not saying like completely
You
cut down
just
teams.
merge them, and you can take the best players, and then you would at least have a team.
Yeah, take Dallas and Houston and move them to San Antonio. Or
Yes, and then take
That would be awesome.
And then those teams might get a wild card spot out of all.
At this point, no one's listening to a single goddamn thing we have to say about sports. 'Cause
No.
We're talking about getting rid of the Cowboys.
And-
That's my fault. That's 100% my fault.
San Antonio.
But Detroit, I am with you on getting rid of Detroit on Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
Those are stable.
Chicago's also every
Yeah,
Thanksgiving.
but
For what
here's
reason?
the thing, though. Here's the thing, though. Is it my getting rid of Detroit on Thanksgiving is different than Shaq's? Because Shaq just hates Detroit. My reasoning is that, you know what, like, how many holidays do these people in Detroit have to have fucked up? Like, they lose every single year on Thanksgiving. Like, no one enjoys Turkey Day
What are teams
in
getting?
Detroit.
Get the
Give
shit
them
kicked
a
in.
break. Let them stay at home in the heat inside their house and eat some turkey
With
rather
no-
than freeze
with
their
no
ass
cen-
off.
with
and
no
lose.
central AC or heat at all, too.
So I do agree with that.
I work with somebody that lives in Detroit, and she says apparently it's just fine. I don't think she's a sports fan.
That's
though.
because they
But
use.
she's here now, right?
No, she lives in Detroit.
That's because they so.
I was gonna say, you know.
That's because they're so used to getting the shit kicked in. It doesn't bother them anymore.
They all say it's fine because they don't know.
If you go to high school and you get your shit kicked in every day of high school,
When you're used to it, you don't even think about it anymore.
When your life sucks and you don't know what a good life looks like.
Yeah.
So, but that's
Yeah. And number one on the list is going to be still Detroit. Get rid of Detroit. They've wasted all their talents that they possibly could have had and still have nothing to show for it.
I mean, now they got Jared Goff.
Okay, go waste Jared Goff.
I tried for like 5 seconds to create an
All right, we need to move on.
All right, so
we'll be back from the break for like
leave it up to me to pick a subject that we can rant on forever about.
Last time was Michael Jordan, Kevin Durant.
Last time he was like Michael Jordan, LeBron James better than Michael Jordan. That's not even a what's up with that. That's just fuck our time.
That's a political debate.
Yeah. That's like Biden and Trump discussion.
And I literally spent 5 minutes at work sitting down to the break. I'm like, how can I extend this show 30 minutes past what it should be?
Even though for 30-some episodes, this man's been blaming me for how long the episodes are. But he's over here dropping Michael Jordan, LeBron James, and what's up with that.
You can't really blame me.
He blames me every week.
Literally, I spend 10 seconds talking about my what's up with that, and y'all go on for 30 minutes past that.
Because you say the dumbest shit.
He said wipe Detroit off the NFL team
He said
list.
just
Get rid of them.
That's a topic. We have to defend that or agree with you.
It's sad, but
Yeah, you put me in that position, Shaq. Fuck you for that. So my what's up with that is the home run derby.
Yes.
I got a bone to pick with the home run derby.
Speaking of truth.
I don't. In only Major League Baseball could have the best event in an all-star format and fuck it up with the way they do the format. Because how does Julio Rodriguez hit 81 home runs, the second most ever in a home run derby, and not win it? Why? Because Juan Soto gets to hit less than 20 home runs every single round and finish with 56 and win the goddamn thing. I know that Soto won it, and first of all, it's cocky as shit when he was doing the whole acceptance thing. He is feeling himself. He might as well have had his hand in his jockstrap the entire time he was doing the interview because he was feeling himself a lot in that interview. But Julio Rodriguez is the only player in home run derby history. We're talking about greats. Barry Bonds has participated. Mark Wise participated. Roy Sosa, King Griffey Jr. has won 3 of them. Albert Pujols has been in 5 of them. You got a lot of heavy hitters, right? He's the only one to have 30 home runs in 2 rounds of the home run derby. 32 and 31 and then 18. Yet with the way they do the brackets and the way that they do the format, the way that they do it, he ends up losing, and there was a lot of cheating going on in the goddamn home run derby. Because the way it is you're not supposed to throw the pitch until the umpire that's standing right next to home plate puts his hand up and lets the pitcher know you can throw the pitch. Why? Because you're supposed to have the ball leave the park before you can throw the next pitch. Well, something happened right around 55 seconds left in Juan Soto's final round where all of a sudden it was like rapid fire. Like, I felt bad for the pitcher's shoulder, how fast he was throwing the fucking ball. Like, it was like just all over the goddamn place. And he started racking them out of the park. He was totally disregarding the ump, just chucking them down there. And Soto ended up getting like 8 or 9 home runs in that last minute that put him in position to be able to win it with the bonus time that he had. So you don't even have some of the players following the rules. The brackets are stupid. You give no credence to overall home runs in any of this. Julio Rodriguez should have won the home run derby with 81 home runs. That man hit more home runs in 6 minutes than Babe Ruth ever did in the season. And he can't win a home run derby. I'm just saying.
Damn. What is up with that? G-Money. What's on your heart?
So I'm actually going to piggyback on Mike's college football because that's what I wanted to talk about anyway. But you all kind of jumped all over it. But no, it's cool. people do act like this is the first time this has happened, and they're losing their shit over it. It's like, no, it's happened before. The Big East did indeed disappear when Florida State, Miami joined the ACC, and then Maryland, Rutgers, they joined the Big Ten. The Big Ten grabbed Penn State, which was an independent.
Yeah.
It happens. It's the nature of college football. At some point, there'll probably be 3 divisions, and that's it. It'll be the Big 12 again. The Big 10, which will be probably the Big 18. Which they do need to change the names, though, because it makes no sense. You're the Big 10 and you've got like 16 teams. It makes no sense that you were the Big 12 and you only had like 8 teams. Made no sense. So they need to change that. But man, people, stop losing your shit. It happens. That's just the way it is. And money talks.
Yeah.
We've all discussed this as far as players making $400 or $500 million. If someone offered any one of us in the job we do to move to a different state or a different county, and I'm going to pay you 10 times what you make.
Right.
Different planet, and I bet.
Well, I'm not going to say you're a different planet.
I would say
someone said you had to move to New Zealand, and you'll make
This man's like,
$200 million.
y'all got a hospital on Mars. Going.
But yeah, I
Tomorrow.
mean, it's the way things are.
Now,
Stop losing your shit. And state schools may not be able to jump into these other conferences and leave the conferences behind. I know UCLA said, well, we've got attorneys, and they say it's okay. Yeah, whatever. Because guess what? The Governor Newsom, he's on the UC board. So, fuck you.
and
UCLA.
he's trying to protect the other California schools.
He definitely is trying to protect the other California schools.
He wants to keep them relevant because you got a lot of voters out there.
So if just for instance, if USC left and it took Stanford with them, both private schools, right? I could see the Pac-10 at that point being Pac-10 pulling in San Diego State, San Jose State. Why San Jose State? Because it's in the same market that Stanford was in.
California, yep.
And Stanford, and that market, I do believe, is like the 6th largest market in the nation. The LA market is the 2nd, New York being the 1st. But no, realignment's happened for at least, 25 years.
The only thing outside of that comment that I didn't really understand outside of forgetting, like Penn State, A&M, Missouri, Nebraska, so that's 4 teams that they left out. They mentioned that an independent joined a conference and then became independent again. I can't think of an independent that joined a conference and became independent again. Can you? I can't.
I was thinking maybe BYU.
But they were always independent, and then they joined the Big 12.
No, well, because I thought maybe they might have joined the Mountain West or whatever, the Big Mountain, whatever they want to call it, Big Sky. But I can't think of let's put it like this: I cannot think of a relevant independent that joined a conference.
Yeah. And then went independent
again. And then went independent again. At least not in the last, let's say, 30 years.
Because the only independents right now are BYU and Notre Dame.
Yeah.
And so there would have to be another independent out there that joined a conference and then left the conference. And Notre Dame sure as shit ain't been a part of one.
No. I mean, it's a part of the ACC for certain things, but that's it. I mean, actually, for basketball, is really the only thing it's a part of.
They did a football schedule because of COVID, but that was it.
They did. And they do play 4 or 5 games against the ACC. But other than that, no, they're not a part of the ACC football-wise. I mean, they like their independence. And quite frankly, like they said, if they get $75 million, they're going to stay independent.
Yeah.
What about you?
My what's up with that is going to the NBA. This is Donovan Mitchell talk of what the Jazz are requesting. I don't know if Danny Ainge is on crack or whatever, but demanding 6 picks and 6 players in exchange for Donovan Mitchell. I don't know any player that is worth that haul.
Yeah, Steph Curry isn't getting 6 players and 6 number ones.
And you think that Spider Mitchell? I mean, I like him, but Jesus.
Yeah.
Maybe don't give up Rudy Gobert so fast.
Well,
for the I mean, they did get a good amount.
The haul they got for Rudy Gobert is probably why they're trying to get what they can from Mitchell.
Yeah, but it's like, I mean, hell, maybe
it only takes one team to fuck it up for everybody else.
Right.
Like Kevin Durant would probably have been moved right now.
Yeah, he's probably looking at
for the Gobert
right.
trade.
He's probably looking at the Jazz right now, like, why the hell, fuck you guys.
He's like a bunch of Mormons are deciding where to play basketball right now.
That's right.
Is what we're doing. Danny Ainge might as well be a Mormon. Look at him.
I don't get it. At that point, it's like, why are you even saying that Donovan Mitchell is up for grabs? Because clearly he is not. Like, realistically speaking, nobody's going to give that up. The Jazz are just kind of going back to the Utah Jazz in this current time.
If nobody is giving up 4 number ones and 1 all-star for Kevin Durant,
right.
Nobody is giving up 6 players and 6 number ones for Mitchell.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen.
Absolutely not.
So apparently, in Utah, they are partaking of things that they're not supposed to be partaking in if they have that type of idea of what they can be getting. Now, I do have one more. What's up with that?
Yes.
It does go back to the NFL. It doesn't involve getting rid of the Lions.
All right.
But let's talk about some uniforms for a second. Because you got a lot of teams coming out with some throwbacks. You got the Patriots. You got the Eagles. You got the Bucks. You got the Giants. That's just 4, right? So this is threefold on this what's up with that. First of all, why are these 4 teams only making these throwbacks for 2 games when they're clearly better than the current version of what they're offering now in their uniforms? Maybe the Patriots. Maybe the Patriots are not better. But the Giants of the 80s and the 90s is better than what they got right now.
The Eagles,
the Eagles for sure with Kelly Green. Whoever designed the current Eagles uniform needs the business end of 2x4. But the Giants, now I like the Giants helmet with the NY. That's cool. That's back to the YA Tittle days.
Yeah.
But we're the NFL. Can we not come up with a jersey that's just blue with white numbers and letters? Like, can we not? I'm not saying beat Oregon, but could we do something a little bit spicier than just a blue jersey with white numbers? The Bucks and Creamsicles, I want them to go back to that for no other reason than they were terrible when they had those jerseys. And everyone needs a little bit more orange in their life. And we're in Florida, for goddamn sakes. The goddamn state of oranges, so there should be fucking orange in there. And the next part of this is why the fuck are my Seahawks not coming back with an 80s and 90s version of their goddamn unis? Why do we not have a fucking throwback? That pisses me off. That royal blue with green, the silver helmet, that would have been beautiful to see Russell Wilson in, but he's not in there anymore. Goddamn Mitch in Denver. But, you know, I'd like to see Drew Lock in the navy blue Seahawks jersey. I think that's a good guy. Like everyone talks about the creamsicles with Tampa, like that's actually a good jersey. No, it's not. It's fucking disgusting. But the Seahawks 80s and 90s uniforms were beautiful. They needed to change, but they made their change. I get it, but we could have a throwback. That'd be nice. And then the last thing I gotta say about these uniforms, there seems to be a love affair with black helmets.
Yeah.
I don't understand it. The Saints have a black helmet. Carolina Panthers coming up with a black helmet. Cincinnati's trying to be different with a white helmet. That actually looks cool.
It does.
But the Carolina Panthers black helmet is a black helmet with a blue outline of the Panther logo. And outside of 5 feet away, you can't even see what the fucking logo is. So, like, what is the love affair? Like, college went through this with all the black, right? Everybody in college all of a sudden had black jerseys, black helmets. I think Nebraska was one of the first ones. Nebraska fucked it up for everybody because all of a sudden every college team had to have a black jersey after that. And all the purists and traditionalists were like, that's disgusting, we need to knock this shit off. And they eventually did. And then 5 years later, the NFL's like, you know what we need? We need some black jerseys and some black helmets. So I don't really understand the black fad with the helmets and the jerseys and all that. Like, not everybody can be the Raiders. I don't
Right. Certain teams it works, but most it does not. You said 2 games. Some teams are going back to the retro. Are those any like special games? Or
well, it's their whatever because you know, like they used to do the color rush thing, right? But they kind of got rid of the color rush, so they allow the NFL, NFL teams to come up with a different jersey that is still under the guidelines of the color rush that you can use for 2 games, which is outside of your alternate and outside of your home and your away jersey. So like my Seahawks have that weird ass green shit that they do with everything. I'm surprised they're not coming out with a green helmet this year because everyone else is coming out with a different helmet. But what stopped a lot of these teams from doing these throwbacks is that the NFL had that helmet rule that they passed back in 2013, 2012. That because of all the CTE stuff, they said that you couldn't have multiple helmets anymore. So the Bucks and the Patriots were 2 of the teams. The Eagles was one of the teams that used to do throwbacks, and they would bring out different helmets and whatnot. Well, the NFL kind of killed that because you can't really do a Bucks throwback with a pewter helmet. That would look stupid. Same with the Patriots, right? So now they're allowing them to have multiple helmets again because they realize, you know what, we don't give a shit about people's brains. We can make merchandise money off of this. Let's bring this stuff back. So now you got all these teams doing it again, but they can only do it for 2 games. But in retrospect, like the Eagles, like some of these teams that are doing retros, like that, the Giants, like that should be what their jersey is now. Like that should be their primary. So, because it looks better than what they're putting on the field the rest of the year. I don't know. Maybe you guys disagree. G-Money's looking at me like you know.
I'm with you on this one. But, yeah, if you guys don't have anything else to add, then we'll keep them
on. Well, I mean, the whole black helmets, black uniform thing, that was a whole sales pitch, right? Because when you're looking at 15, 16, 17, 18, 19-year-olds, that was in. So they were that's what they wore. You could be the Atlanta Falcons, and if you remember, the Atlanta Falcons changed at one point their uniforms. Deion Sanders was playing with red, and they went to black. Why? Because it was a big sales thing, and that's why they do it. There's no other reason. The Tampa, going back to the creamsicle, that's fucking ugly. I'm sorry.
I love them celebrating the worst times of their.
Well, I mean, now in all honesty, I think it was their second or third year. McVay was the coach. As they went to the NFC Championship, they lost 9-6. I mean, they wore those nasty creams.
Yeah, they also went winless 2 years in a row with them.
Doug Williams was their quarterback at the time,
and he won a Super Bowl with Washington.
Yes, he did. Because everybody that was a quarterback of Tampa up until
Williams, Young, Testaverde was one of them. Yeah.
Steve
Dilfer won a Super Bowl after. God, that's great.
I mean, it wasn't like they didn't draft well. They just couldn't keep their players.
Tom Brady's the first one to win the Super Bowl, then go to the Bucks. Everyone else left the Bucks.
Well, that's the only way they would do it. I mean, I'm sorry, but you either draft well and you can't get a coach, or you don't draft well and you have a coach and you can't do anything.
It's the same token, though. Like, at least the Patriots went to a Super Bowl in their old unis. Now they got annihilated by the Bears, but you probably don't care about that because you became a fan of the Patriots because of Tom Brady. So you're almost like Shaq. The Eagles. I mean, that was iconic. And Randall Cunningham was big at the time. He was.
I mean, I like those uniforms. I like the helmets. I mean, some, as you say,
beautiful uniform.
Some things when they change, you look at it and go, wow. I mean, it makes. But you know, you understand the economics of it, right? You want to sell more jerseys, so you change. And the same as with the Neon Rush. I mean, you know.
I mean, I can't really blame the Eagles though, because that's just doing what Philly does though. They make bad decisions, and it's not just the Eagles; it's even the Sixers. I mean, shit, they just signed Harden, and trust the process. But I mean, like in the span of a year, they were like, you know what, fuck Kelly Green and everything that stood for, and then let's draft Donovan McNabb, who's gonna puke.
But he took them to the Super Bowl. He wasn't that bad of a
Yeah, but they never went to the Super Bowl until they got Terrell Owens. They lost like 3 straight NFC championship games before they went there.
Well, that's like saying, well, that Andy Reid just wasn't that good of a coach until Terrell Owens showed up.
No, he wasn't that good of a coach until he got Patrick Mahomes. He was really good at getting to the playoffs, but he was not going to a Super Bowl and winning it until he got Patrick Mahomes. I mean, shit, if Reed could take Alex Smith to the playoffs in KC, you can take Donovan McNabb to a Super Bowl. But that's just what Philly does. They just make bad decisions all the time. And that's one of the reasons why one of their best fans is probably going to jail. Because that's what the Eagles did to him. They broke his life. And so he's probably going to jail now. And if you watch YouTube, you know exactly who we're talking about. But there's an ongoing legal investigation going on right now, so I'm not naming names.
But we have this man in our intro for 90 weeks.
You can connect the dots. Moving right along into our last segment of the week, and that is our predictions for the AFC West and how we think records are going to go. So we've done the AFC East and the AFC North. So let's start off. I have the Chiefs record or the Chiefs schedule up here. We'll start off with just the record that you think that they're going to have, and then you can give it an explanation or any key games that you would like to jump to. Anybody want to go first?
I feel like I am once again going through this one.
There you go, Shaq.
I see the Chiefs winning 10 games for the season. Of this current phase where they're at. Purely because I see them dropping a few games early in the season. I feel like most of the losses will come at the beginning of the season, try to adjust to not having Tyreek as part of their team and trying to just adjust to the new weapons, and Mahomes trying to be like, I'm not used to not throwing Tyreek when things become rough. So 10 wins for the season is where I see him still going. Most of the losses beginning of the season, him turning up when he knows has come essential games to playoff towards the end of the season.
All right, Jack has them going 10-7. I have them going a game over that at 11-6, and finishing in second place in the AFC West. 3-3 in the division. I don't have them losing a single home game, believe it or not.
Arrowhead.
Some of the key games here. Let's see. I've got them splitting to the Raiders. I have them coming to Tampa and beating Tampa. I don't know why. It seems like every time they play the Bucs, it's always here in Tampa. I don't know why they can't seem to get them at home, but it is what it is. I've got them beating the Bills at home. I have them beating the Chargers at home. I do have them losing to the Bengals in Cincinnati. But yeah, besides that, I have them going 11-6, but not winning the division at 11-6. G-Money, you want to go next?
Okay, so I didn't bring my ream of paper with me, so I can't shuffle.
But I have trees.
I have Kansas City going 14-3. I think the first 3 weeks, I believe I had them going 1-2, because like most of you, I think Mahomes has to figure out who his number one and number two receiver, or number two and number three receivers are, because Kelsey's probably during those 3 weeks going to be number one. But yeah, I just don't see them dropping off so much that they're going to be like 10 and 7, 11 and 6 even. I think they're solid, even defensively, even with the Honey Badger leaving. I still think that defensively they're going to be solid, and I think that the wide receivers will step up.
Juju there. He'll fit in like a glove. Malin?
I have Kansas City going 12-5.
Okay.
I have them finishing second in the division. This is the only division that when I went through game by game, week by week, that this division is the only division where every team has a winning record. Okay. Now, they do play the AFC North. That is a little tough, but I have them splitting all of their division series in the AFC West. But they also play the AFC South.
Yes.
And I do think that Derrick Henry is going to get hurt again at some point. And you really talk about that division. That's probably one of the. In fact, I think it is the weakest division in football. Because every other division, even the NFC East, does have Dallas and Philly that are probably going to win. The AFC East has the Bills and the Patriots. Tennessee is the only strong team in that division that I think of. And I think that the magic that Tannehill's kind of had to kind of will them to some victories is going to run out. They just lost their best wide receiver. Derrick Henry is showing another reason why you don't necessarily draft a running back in the first round, because they're going to give you a couple good years, a few good years. But typically if you're drafted in the first round in the NFL, it's because you were a workhorse in college, and there's only so many hits that a running back can take. So I have them going actually 7-2 away, 5-3 at home, but 12-5 overall, because I do think that they drafted a receiver in the first round. Kelsey's still going to be Kelsey. I think that Mahomes is a generational quarterback, to where even though I don't think that they have what it takes to be the front runner in the division anymore or necessarily have the talent to go to the Super Bowl, I think he's one of those quarterbacks that can end up like Aaron Rodgers, that is always good enough to get you deep into the playoffs with the talent, even if you don't necessarily have all the talent around you that you used to have. And so I have them going 12-5, number 2.
Gotcha. So Shaq has them 10-7. I have them 11-6. G Money has them 14-3, and then Malin has them at 12-5.
Yeah. No one thought they were going to win 13, huh? Okay.
Not quite. Next up, we've got the Chargers here. Chargers. Shaq, you want to go first?
Chargers, I see them going 9-8 right now. Also,
9-8.
9-8.
Did you just pull that out of your ass?
Nope.
You had to think about it.
No, I still see them as a solid team. It's just like, unfortunately, just a very hard division where I feel like a little bit right now for them. It's still gonna be a battle for them as a team. It's like they're a very good team now, but they haven't. It's up until these past couple of years that they've been a really good and solid team. Even with other teams in the division losing and still rearranging players, it's still gonna be a battle for them. They're gonna work hard for all the victories that they get in this division, and I just see it being grueling for them and working for every single win that they have. So that's just me.
I've got them also going 11-6.
He said also. He said 9-8.
I mean, for the Chiefs are also going 11-6. You're gonna have a common theme with my AFC West picks, but yeah, I don't see them being too far off from last year. They've got Jacksonville in there. They've got Atlanta in there. Tennessee's also in there as well. So I think they will be just fine. 7-1 at home. Also 3-3 in the division. Yeah, I think the Chargers will be 11-6. G-Money.
I have the Chargers going 13-4. I like the addition of Khalil Mack with Mack and Bosa crashing from the ends, and I think Aber, Williams. I seriously think that they can go 13-4. It's second in the division. It's a tough division, but I definitely see them beating Denver in the division. That just could be my own personal bias of hating Denver from the time when Seattle was in the AFC West, and now the fact they have Russell Wilson and I want higher draft picks. I want Denver to lose. But no, I think they've added on defense. They really haven't added anything on offense, but I don't really think they needed to. I think they did need to add to defense. They needed to have someone help Bosa out, and I think it makes it difficult to block both Bosa and Mack.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why, like, the addition of Mack, and a lot of people forget that, Nick Bosa has a brother Joey that was actually just as highly touted as him, and is really good in the league. And I actually have the Chargers going 13-4. I have them going 4-2 in the division. I think that Herbert is going to take a leap, like a Josh Allen leap, going into his third year. And that's saying something because he's already been playing lights out like his first 2 years. Far better than like a lot of people thought he was going to. The defense is really good. They got a great offensive mind. Is a head coach coming in there. I really think that they kind of take that next step. And I think that when I was going through it a lot like you, Gary, there was some of that bias with me too with Denver. I don't know what it was about being a Seahawks fan when they were in the AFC to where you didn't really hate Kansas City that much, but you hated Denver. Shaq, stop playing footsie with me. What the fuck? He's all over it, tickling my toes here. You don't really hate Kansas City as much as you hated the Raiders and Denver, and there's a reason why we called John Elway horse face. One, he did look like a horse face, and now that Russell Wilson is there, you do want them to lose games. So it's kind of hard not to pick a little bit out of your emotion on some of those games when it comes to that division with Denver, because we do want a better draft pick. But I have them going 13-4 and actually winning the division this year. I think they take a step up and win the division this year.
All right. Got 5 on the Chargers. Next up, we have the Raiders. Shaq, you want to start us off with the Raiders?
Great.
Don't cheat off me.
I'm not even looking at it. The Raiders is such a hard pick for me altogether, I feel like. But I can see the Raiders going in.
He's good. Don't worry about it.
10-7 this year.
10-7.
10-7 for the Raiders going on this year. I feel like
Viva Las Vegas. Let's go.
I feel like the Raiders are gonna really try to make a big push this year, try to make themselves known, and this is gonna be the start of the Raiders being the big contenders and big push out there. So 10-7, I feel like is where the Raiders get.
Weren't they 9-8 last year?
Yeah, 10-7.
10-7. Big push is one. That's a big ass push.
What were the Raiders a couple years ago? 2-3 years ago.
Yeah.
You got me.
Yeah.
And they went to the playoffs last year.
It's like
so, you know.
they're not
I mean,
even
only
go-
because the well,
Yeah, the
actually, the
Chargers
Chargers should have gone too, but there was some dumbasses last year.
Exactly. They can't make big giant leaps and all of a sudden go from like that to like what 13 and 4. No.
You say they're gonna make a big push, but they can't make a giant leap.
No. Baby steps. Baby
One
steps to the
step to the
press.
AFC West, not a giant leap for the Raiders.
You know, it's funny you say that on the 53rd anniversary of us landing a man on the moon that a bunch of dumbasses don't believe. Well, that's fine. Kyrie Irving probably doesn't believe it.
No, because the Earth is flat and the moon doesn't exist.
Simulation. I have the Raiders going 11-6. There you go.
All right, this man has his Raiders winning one extra. Okay.
That's my big push. All right. They also have a bunch of winnable games in here. AFC South. Yeah, I mean, I see them winning at home. So like San Francisco, Kansas City, Denver, at home, Arizona. At home, also have them going 7-1, so I think they'll hold down the home field advantage. So, yeah, got Raiders going 11-6.
I mean, I have another reason why I have all these AFC West teams having a winning record isn't just because they're playing the AFC South, but they're also playing the NFC South. And we can't forget just how bad that division is outside of Tom Brady. Notice I did not say the Buccaneers, I said Tom Brady. Because he's the only thing keeping that ship afloat. So I have Las Vegas, after all that shit, I have Las Vegas going 9-8. Because I don't see them taking a big step. I don't have them making a big step only because of the division they're in. I do think the Devontae Adams is big, but I don't think the defense is as good as other defenses in the division. I think they're going to drop a couple others. And when I look at quarterbacks, even though I think Derek Carr is a very good quarterback in this league, I would have to rank him number 4 in this division. Even though he's a good quarterback, he's the worst quarterback in that division. And so I have a hard time giving that team double-digit wins. And so when I was looking week by week, I ended up seeing them going 9-8, 2-4 in the division, just because I think Herbert and that team and that defense is strong. And Kansas City is really strong. I had them going 4-2 in the division too. And not everybody can have a winning record inside the division and have double-digit wins.
We have like a Hispanic 6-year-old birthday party going on down the street from here. Y'all hear the chaos going on.
There's a Hispanic birthday party going on down the street like every goddamn night. It's not even a birthday. It's just a hey, we're all together.
Yes, and all the
Take the bottle of leftover Don Julio down there.
And they would
we could bring a party here.
they would love it. None of us would be alive tomorrow because God knows.
I don't think we're going to be alive tomorrow anyways.
So throw us off the edge anyway.
I would just like to point out that Jalen has not taken a drink of a Don Julio in the second half.
Yeah.
Smart man. He's like, I'm driving.
Man said no to Don Julio. I'm going to end up drinking that Don Julio.
So I take it home.
Because I live here.
Then I got a to-go cup.
To-go cup.
You live in Washington, sir. That's a long-ass time for a to-go cup.
Man's on a flight just...
All right, G-Money, what do you have the Raiders
I have
going?
the Raiders going 11-6. My reasoning, obviously, offensively, with the addition of Devontae Adams, and everybody forgets that he played with David Carr, or
Derek Carr.
Whatever.
David Carr was his brother, played for Houston. That's one of the teams I want to get rid of.
Well, because let's be honest. I mean, David Carr would have been a better quarterback if he'd not gone to Houston. Got sacked 72 times in like 2 bloody years.
He came from Fresno State, which might end up being the Pac-10 team.
May well be. But no, you've got Devontae Adams, you've got Renfro, and you've got Waller. That's a nice set of receivers, I mean, to be throwing to.
Right.
I mean, it's, and let's face it, if Ruggs hadn't done what he did and now facing 20 years in prison, which, you know, I mean, in all honesty, when you look at that and you think...
Oh, you mean drive a car drunk?
Yeah, no, that's exactly what... No, not just driving a car drunk, but drive your vet at 145 miles an hour and drunk, and you hit someone, and you kill someone. Yeah, I mean, you know, his life and everything's over. They probably would not have made that Adams trade because they felt good enough with Ruggs, and he was the leading receiver at the time. And now, you know, you had Adams, and people say, well, they'll double Adams. Okay, fine, double Adams. Are you going to double Renfro and Waller as well? Oh, yeah, no, you're not. Shut the hell up. I mean, you're not going to double 3 receivers. You're double with linebackers.
That is something to say that they probably do have the best receiving core in the division.
They do.
And they do have the second best tight end in the division. So I can see that. Like I said, I might be wrong.
Well, we could all be wrong. I mean, we're looking right now in training camp.
Yeah.
It just started today for the Raiders.
Yeah.
It'll starting for everybody else as the week progresses and we get into next week. But, you know, we're making our prognostications based on
what we're seeing
right now. I mean, we don't know. I mean, someone gets injured in training camp. You know, someone shines. We don't know. There are trades made.
I would just like to say that, you know, like Shaq and Jalen are going to be staying here for a little while after the show drinking water. Ain't nobody driving the vet 140 miles an hour on the way home. Shaq might drive his F-150 140 miles an hour, but that's not because he's had Don Hulu. That's just because he's fucking crazy. If you can get it up that high, because it's a Ford. I don't know. But yeah, like Las Vegas could be better than the 9-8 that I have, man. Like you're right. They're receiving. I'm just worried about their defense. I'm worried about the defense. I can't think of myself. Can anybody think of a Pro Bowl defensive player on the Raiders?
Nope. Crosby. Defensive end.
Okay, so one.
Well, you asked if I could think
I know.
of one.
I know.
That was a question, right?
No, it was. It was.
What?
No, I'm saying.
Yeah.
Okay, so we do have one. But stacked up against the rest of the division, that defense is lacking compared to the rest of them.
Compared definitely to San Diego and probably maybe Kansas City, but not Denver. I mean, Chubb is not as good as people think he is. And aside from him, who else do they have? I mean, which is the last team we're going to be talking about, and the team that I love.
Yeah, let's go ahead and talk about the goddamn horse faces.
Shaq, you want to hop into Denver?
Denver might actually be the only team I see having a losing record so far. This group of people.
I love you.
Not by much, but like 8-9 record. But like I see them having a losing record coming out of
Because
it.
of Russell Wilson, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like he's as much as he's a great quarterback, I feel like this could be a whole lot, but still a big adjustment for him. Like if you could make it work with such a I feel like such a great. Not the hype is nailing up as we continue. If you could make it work with the Seahawks, as much as talent as he had there, and then transition to a new team and have adjustment.
What does that happen to our show?
I know. Look, I can still be non-biased. This man roast my team, but I can still give this man team credit. I see this team having the main losing record purely because adjustments, and this man will not be able to make it work. Coming to a new team and 8-9.
I don't know. At this point, I kind of feel like I'm getting the business end of a Shaq Don Julio here. With the way he was just massaging me with my Seahawks. That was phenomenal, sir. I applaud you. That is, you are my friend.
Well, I'm afraid I'm not going to be because I have the Broncos winning the division.
You're a son of a bitch.
12-5.
Obviously, you have not
Son of a bitch. Yeah. If you drink more Don Julio, you'd agree with the rest of us. You mother.
Yeah, I have been doing a game better than everybody else in the division and winning it just like that.
Why? Why?
I do think
How?
that offense is going to be fairly high-powered.
Who's their running back?
They just re-signed Melvin Gordon.
Ooh, yeah.
Hey, I'm impressed with that.
I thought he was in hospice. No, he's not a hospice.
He's in a walker now.
I thought he would join. I thought he went to hospice after San Diego or L.A. wherever the fuck we're, whatever city they're in now.
Yeah, the Broncos going to
Oh, okay. So you're all Wilson and Judy.
I wouldn't say that I'm all Wilson and Judy, but I think they'll be a good team. That would be good with that.
I hate you. I do have Denver having a winning record. Only because they have Russell Wilson. Now, I do think that, now, this is, I understand 100% that I'm a jilted lover when it comes to Russell Wilson. Because he was my quarterback for 10 years, won Super Bowl. He may have lost us the second Super Bowl. Fuck you, Jalen. We went to the playoffs for 9 straight years with Russell Wilson. It was a great ride. I mean, I don't know if I watched NFL football for 9 years or I watched a league of cornhole for 9 years because he's corny as shit. Because he's not real. He's kind of a fraud a little bit in his press conferences. He's not like everything is this. He's kind of like, to me, I kind of feel like at some point we're going to have some sort of Tiger Woods revelation when it comes to Russell Wilson, because Tiger Woods built this persona and it all came crashing down when his wife put a 9-iron in the back windshield of the Yukon and it crashed into a mailbox. I don't know if Sears going to do that. Hope not. They seem happy. But Russell Wilson seems like he's hiding something with his personality. That's first and foremost. He does have a good receiver in Judy. I question the running back situation, but for all intents and purposes, Denver is going to let Russ cook. And let Russ cook works for about 7 or 8 games. And then defenses figure it out and they realize that, oh shit, he can't see over his offensive line because he's small. And so then that becomes an issue. And I don't think they have a great defense. But I see them going 2-4 in the division because I do think that Kansas City and the Chargers are better than Denver. And I do think that Las Vegas probably steals one. I have them going 5-3 home, 4-5 on the road. I think that they end up with a winning record, but I do think they missed the playoffs, and I understand 100% that a part of me is wanting a better draft pick. So that's why I'm still shooting high on the wins and losses. I tried to be as fair as possible. I wanted to put them 0-17, but I didn't do it for the reputation of the show, for whatever reputation we have. I was trying to save it, even though I think it's gone. But yeah, 9-8, Denver Broncos. Them fucking horses.
G-Money.
I'm going 8-9. Thank you, Shaq. And that's why I gave Pittsburgh, a winning season.
Thank you.
Colin being probably one of the greatest coaches.
Yeah,
in all honesty.
8-9.
But 8-9. So I look at everything, and I look at Denver definitely improved at quarterback. I mean, there's no doubt. I mean, you go from
Small hands, Teddy.
Thank you, small hands, Teddy.
Goddamn right.
To Russell. You definitely improved your team, but the other teams improved too. And guess what? They saw that they improved on defense.
Yeah.
They've got ends now that are going to crash in. They saw what happened when you played LA. They saw what happened when you played Arizona. They saw those things. So they know that, you can scramble, but you can't scramble like when you were 25. It's just not happening. 8-9. And I don't think Russell's a phony. I really don't.
No,
he buys into what he says. What he reminds me of is a politician, and I can see him. He's not going to run for office when he retires, but he's going to own a lot of shit. I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't have a percentage of the Broncos when he retires. He already owns a percentage of the Sounders up in Seattle, the MS.
Well, he already does.
He
owns them.
He's smart.
Minority, yeah.
And he's likable. He really is. I mean,
yeah, sort of.
You know, he's not Aaron Rodgers, where you basically hope he eats a fucking frog and dies. You know, I mean, he's not Tom Brady that you look at and you know that he eats young babies to stay young and able to play at the level he does.
Well, he puts the babies in the avocado ice cream.
Whatever he does, he's eating young babies. You know?
But we just outlawed abortion in this country, apparently.
No. In certain states. Tom Brady can move to any state he wants to and eat young babies.
Not in Florida, you can't.
If you don't wish death upon a certain group of people, what is this show?
I will say this. Now, first of all, we talk about politicians. There's only one Seattle Seahawk that's a politician, and that is the greatest wide receiver to ever play the game, Steve Largent, who was the first wide receiver to 100 touchdowns. I'm just saying, he did that with the Seattle Seahawks. Okay? He didn't have Joe Montana and Steve Young thrown to him. He had Jim Zorn and Dave Craig, and that man racked up 100 touchdowns. And he's a short white guy. So he's basically me on an NFL field catching 100 touchdowns. And he was a senator. And a
representative.
Yes, representative. Congress. So he was a politician. Now, Russell Wilson, you can't, fake as shit, man. Like, he never lets people know who he really is. Like, at least we know that Aaron Rodgers is an asshole because he lets us see that he's an asshole. Like, I don't feel in the 10 years that Russell Wilson was a quarterback for the Seahawks, I don't think that we ever really got to know who Russell Wilson was. All we got were sound bites and what everyone wanted him to say, and everything was pre-scripted when it came to him in interviews. And that's why when I look back on it, I loved it while we were making the playoffs. But in the same token, I'm like, he was part of the reason why we weren't winning at times. He was part of the reason why we were winning at times. Like, everyone can bring up 2016 when he accounted for 98.4% of our touchdowns. How it can end up being 98.4% of the touchdowns, I don't know how that math works out.
Right.
But it did. But he did end up throwing the interception that cost us the Super Bowl. He was the one that played shitty against Dallas in the playoffs in Dallas. Played terrible in that fucking game.
He did.
He was the one that played terrible against the Rams, against a third-string QB, and then a broken thumb Jared Goff. Jared Goff outplayed him in the playoffs that year. So he is just as much to blame for Seattle's shortcomings over the last decade as anybody else. He gets, if you're a quarterback in the NFL, in my opinion, you get all the praise when you win. You deserve all the shade when you lose. But for some reason, Aaron Rodgers gets all the fucking blame and the shit, right?
Right.
Russell Wilson got to fail in the playoffs for like 6 straight years. And yet he got to go to Denver and be unscathed? How the hell does that happen?
So it happens, right? Because when people look at things, they start blaming the coaches as opposed to the player. And when we go back to that Super Bowl that he lost, what he should have done was audible out of that play. Now,
but you just said it. What he should have done. He
did not
should have done it.
But did he get the blame for that? No, the coaches did. I mean, how many times after the game and going on for the next 3 seasons did you hear they need to fire the offensive coordinator? They need to fire. They need to fire these people because they're the ones that make the play. And everybody tends to forget that as a quarterback, you have 2 plays. So when you're in the huddle and you call your play and you're at the line, you can indeed audible out of that play to a running play or to a different passing play. he didn't. That was an outstanding play by the DB of the Patriots. It truly was. That was an outstanding play. I mean, but
at the
he
end
should
of the
have
day,
seen that, and he should have probably ordered.
he wanted to be the hero.
He wanted the glory. I mean, and you know,
at the end of the day, he always talked about he wanted to be the quarterback with the most Super Bowl wins.
he's not going to have that.
He didn't.
He's not going to have that in Denver.
But he never said that he wanted the Seahawks to win. Like when you look back on it, he was talking about himself,
Right.
more than it was the team. When you look back on it now,
Right.
is a fan, you look at it and you're like, well, yeah, he's clearly. But when he's no longer on the team, and all of a sudden I can go ahead and unload all the fucking bullets in my gun, you can look back and we're like, no, man, like you gave us a persona that you wanted everyone to see, just like Tiger Woods did, and you talked about yourself and your own legacy more about the team's legacy. Tom Brady, I hate him, hate Tom Brady, but he was always more about the team than himself.
He was, and it was interesting because he would berate ownership about not getting him wide receivers. Because remember when they had that one season, and Jalen, correct me if I'm wrong, but you had like no-name wide receivers.
Yeah.
And he was like, what the hell, basically. I need wide receivers. I need people that are going to catch the ball. I need people I can trust. If I'm going to throw the ball, I'm going to catch it. And the Patriots basically made runs and won Super Bowls because of who he had as wide receivers, because he could trust throwing the ball to them, even when they lost.
Wow.
And when they lost, and they only lost a few times. I mean, the Giants beat them twice, and the Eagles beat them. And the Giants, when they lost to the Giants, I mean, the catch that was made, I mean, like, you're like, okay, fuck it. Yeah. But the best game they ever had was a comeback game in the Super Bowl against the Falcons when they were down. And yeah, Matt Ryan made mistakes, and the defense played well, but Tom Brady took them down there. And I think at the end of the day, when Tom Brady left the Patriots and went to Tampa, he wanted to prove, because there was always that thing, is it Belichick, is it Brady, is it Belichick, is it Brady? And Brady goes, well, I think it's me, and I want to leave and find out if it's me. And he went to Tampa and won a Super Bowl. But Belichick, even so, the first year was crap. But the second year with Mac Jones, I mean, it's like they went to the playoffs. And Mac Jones isn't the greatest quarterback in the world. But I think he's going to be good enough to get them in the playoffs consistently, even with Buffalo the way it is. Because Buffalo's going to have to make some decisions quickly as far as signing players to long-term deals. And then they're going to be screwed.
At the end of the day, fuck Russell Wilson. Denver Broncos are going 9-8, and I got my normal person outside doing fucking donuts.
There he is.
And the street out there does it at the same fucking time at midnight, 12:15 every single night. He does donuts out there. So we said a lot about the Patriots and the Seahawks, all to say that fuck the Broncos and Russell Wilson.
Yes.
So, yeah.
That will do it. That's the show right there. Again, big shout out to G Money for coming through. Anything else you guys want to mention before we wrap it up?
Did I say fuck Russell Wilson and the Denver Broncos? Okay.
Fuck Detroit.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I would say fuck Detroit, but Detroit fucked itself.
Yeah.
I was just going to say right now it is 12:18 in the morning, so James Harden is probably in a Checkers or Carl's Jr. drive-through.
He's probably
I'm
some
pretty
food.
sure that he's at White Castle.
White
getting
Castle.
all the burgers he can.
I'm sure he's at a strip club somewhere, but
No,
Eating
that's-
White Castle.
Nah. How many times have you heard him in a strip club? Yeah.
The man has like
Ben Simmons is in a strip club right now.
the man has,
Like, my back hurts. I don't think I'm going to be playing.
James Harden has his jersey hung up in a strip club somewhere. I mean, can I acknowledge that?
James Harden is hung up in the strip club. Anyways, well, great show, guys.
Yes.
We said fuck Detroit, Russell Wilson, and James Harden. Have fun with the titties and the White Castle. That's cool.
Me.
Yeah.
We will see you all next week for episode 95. Thank you all for watching.